to the standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs have been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham, because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park, and don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows, but as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
A very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. It's 3 minutes past 6 o'clock, Tuesday, February the 17th. I'm Jeff Stelling. And alongside me in the studio, I'm delighted to say Ally McCoist. Morning, Coisty.
How are you, my fine man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. I mean,
brilliant.
Yeah, no, really good. I mean, talk football in a moment, but, you know, you can't help but, you know, look at the cast list that he shared, you know, during his illustrious career.
Oh.
Pacino, Brando, John Wayne, and Ally McCoist. Talking about Robert Duvall, who passed away.
Mate, I know.
Last night.
Do you know something? My phone started exploding just about 15, 20 minutes before the game at Macclesfield last night. And first one to get me, full enough, was wee Viv. And I was gutted, Jeff. I mean, first thing you've got to say, what an innings, right? 95. But what a guy. I mean, what a man he was. See, when we did that film,
This is a shot of glory.
A Shot at Glory. We did it and we filmed it all over Scotland, and it was just so much fun with the boys, the lads that we did it with. A lot of them were pros, Airdrie and Wraith Rovers, a lot of the boys played with. And he just became one of the boys. He loved it. He absolutely loved it, and he loved what I always remember about him, Jeff, was whenever there was a break. I mean, when you're making these films, it can be time consuming. Whenever there was a break, whatever the boys did, they would set up a heady tennis court, and he would just pull up a chair, and he'd watch you boys playing heady tennis, and he'd love it. He'd love the crack. He'd love all the patter. and then he used to take the boys for dinner as well. I remember he took us all for dinner up at St Andrews in the golf course hotel. On the top floor, he took us up for dinner. There was a big table, about 18 of us, and it was just what a memory. What a memory. When you think of some of the films, see what you mentioned, a lot of people don't remember. I mean, it was True Grit with John Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah. That was very early days for him, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I think his first one might have been To Kill a Mockingbird.
It was, yeah, it was. Was that 62?
62.
Yeah. So, I mean, and obviously talk about longevity.
Oh, mate.
Because he was fit as a fiddle, wasn't he? And
well, he loved his dancing. He married Luciana. We met Luciana. Luciana was his fourth wife. And she was I think 40 years younger. And I want to say she was Argentinian or certainly South American. And he loved his dancing. And right up until I'm telling you, his 80s, he was dancing and riding in his ranch as well, horse riding in his ranch. What a character, what a life, man. You think about Apocalypse Now, everything, with Tom Cruise and oh dear. So I tell you what, we'll talk about him a bit more a little bit later, because his career was just phenomenal. Obviously, the highlight was working with you. There is no question about that. Just before we get on to where you were last night, just to say good morning to Ross. I'm not sure if he can hear us by now. He says, "Morning, lads, love the show." He said, "Wish me luck. Just setting off from home in Anik to head to Baku." Obviously, he's a Newcastle, of course.
Yeah, so he said it's Newcastle to Dublin, Dublin to Istanbul, Istanbul to Baku, arriving at 3 a.m. local time. Away the lads. Hey, Ross, good lad.
Best of luck, pal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Newcastle will be absolutely fine. Hope so. Anyway, over the two legs. So you were at Macclesfield last night. Not quite the cup upset they were hoping for. But, but look, they went out sort of in a blaze of glory. Wow. Unfortunate to lose to an own goal, obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, it was horrible. I didn't think it was an awful lot in the first half, Jeff. And I thought Macclesfield covered themselves. Everything just covered themselves in glory over their cup run. Brentford better team second half. They run about 7 or 8 corners. You think there was a kind of inevitability about what was going to happen. Yeah. But boy, did they keep going, Macclesfield. They've got some good players. Captain Paul Dawson, I thought, played well. Mellor through the middle, worked his socks off. I thought Borthwick Jackson at the back, well, he did. He got man of the match. I actually thought the better players on the pitch were Macclesfield players, but I don't think you could doubt. I think Brentford probably deserved to win the game, but it's a horrible way for Macclesfield to lose the game. It wasn't a great way for Brentford to win the game either, but over the 90 or so minutes, I thought they did deserve it. But what a run that is! And do you know what I thought? Just seen watching that game last night, going to the game and watching the way Macclesfield played, I can totally understand how they beat Palace. On another day, they can get a draw against Brentford there last. I know I said Brentford deserved to win the second half, and I think they did. But another day, it's a late on goal. They'll get into extra time.
Look, what it's done for the club is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Giving them a huge boost, but not just that, as we mentioned yesterday, talking to Rob Smith, it's put them on the map to such a degree that now they have got some very wealthy individuals wanting to get involved.
Correct.
So when you think of what Macclesfield Macclesfield in a previous form, how they struggled, it's incredible. And I tell you, it was an inspiration to a lot of clubs in financial difficulties and maybe go out of business and then come back, reformed.
And it's worth a mention as well. We did the draw before the game.
What a draw!
We'll go on to Nigel Clough for a minute, right?
Yeah. He didn't mention Arsenal, did he? He just mentioned Man City. He said, "No, not Man City, please."
I think he gave Liverpool a mention too at one point. But I couldn't stop laughing when that draw. First man I thought of was Nige. I said, we can't even give him 24 hours to enjoy his victory against Burnley. Here, have some of that, Nigel.
Yeah, but I tell you, Wrexham Chelsea, that's a tasty one.
Isn't it just?
It's a really tasty game.
Isn't it just? There's been some great ties thrown up in this one.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Let's focus on Macclesfield for a moment or two. Because not naturally, John Rooney said afterwards to talkSPORT that he was disappointed.
To lose the game with the way we did was probably a little bit frustrating, but listen, for what the lads have achieved in the FA Cup this year, not just in the league, but the performance they put in tonight was outstanding again. The the way they work for each other, the real togetherness about them, every little bit of detail we give them in the changing room and on the training pitch, they carried it out. We just didn't have that final bit today in the goal, but I couldn't be any more proud of them lads tonight. And tough way to lose the game, but as much as it's cruel, football can be cruel at times.
It was cruel as far as they're concerned. Look, the run was going to end somewhere. I know there's a couple of headlines says ends in heartbreak. It's not heartbreak.
No,
it's not.
It's pride.
It's pride. Exactly. That's what Macclesfield take away from the cup run, as well as an absolute shed load of money, of course. So that was brilliant.
Without doubt, it's pride. I mean, pride stroke disappointment. We spoke about it very briefly there, Jeff. I think the manner of the way they went out the goal. I just think, I don't know, I felt guilty, but you got to say what you got to say what you see. I just think, look, Duffy just switches off for a split. It just shows you at that level, just a split second he allows Hickey to get in behind him. I bet he wakes up this morning saying, if only I'd matched that run, and then obviously the own goal. But no, I thought the atmosphere was great. I thought the home crowd, good travelling support as well, it has to be said. So a lot of them must have been on that last train that you were talking about.
Yeah, 10:36.
Yeah, but there's a good number of buses out there as well. So a good travelling support. So yeah, I thought probably the correct result, but a lot of pride for Macclesfield, no doubt about that.
Now I have to be honest, hand on heart, I didn't watch it because I was busy watching Coventry against Middlesbrough in the Championship.
Haji Wright.
Yeah, Haji Wright was terrific. I sort of thought he bullied Middlesbrough defensively.
Well, I can't. That second goal, Jeff. I mean, he does exceptionally well, but it's a punt up the pitch.
He does.
You've got to defend that better.
Can't defend like that. And afterwards, Kim Hellberg said exactly that. He was very open. He said first half Coventry better side, but second half Middlesbrough began to control. Then they concede that goal. Then they got to go back. And just when you think, well, the tide has turned here, and it had, then Coventry go down the other end and get a penalty. It was a penalty. There wasn't any argument about it, so it was a penalty, and go on and win the game. My take on it, though, is that Coventry and Middlesbrough will go up, both of them, from that.
But do you know something? I only saw the highlights clearly this morning. I thought myself, I think Haji hit the post with a header in the first 2 minutes, the first 90 seconds or something like that. And it looked an excellent game. The only thing I would say, looking at it, I'm kind of loath to rule Ipswich out at this stage, Jeff. I know and actually them getting knocked out of the cup, it was at Wrexham at the weekend, 1-0, they might not thank you for it, but it might not be the worst thing that could happen to them.
Yeah, I get that. But, Coventry have showed their resilience, their bounce-back ability, if you like, by winning that game. And, there's a physicality about that, and that's not in any way meant to be an insult. That's probably the one thing that Middlesbrough are lacking, actually, is a bit of physicality. Because a lot of their team, from their full-backs upwards, are sort of, 5'9", 5'10", things like that. So, but they play beautiful football. Players rarely take more than 2 touches on the ball. They pass it quickly. They weren't at their best last night. But despite that, they caused Coventry plenty of problems. I thought Morgan Whittaker should have scored with a header. They hit the woodwork themselves. They got their goal. But were just vulnerable defensively last night, but I just don't see them not finishing in the top 2 because they're a lovely footballing side, and I think under Frank the same will apply to Coventry. As you say, Haji Wright,
Coy looked the real deal.
Yeah, and we'll be talking to him a bit later on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he did look the real deal, that's for sure. Coming up, though, we'll turn our attention to the back pages. Tyson Fury making the headlines again. Are we all excited of his to return to the ring for a 5th time? We'll discuss that next. So what can Spurs fans expect? Let's find out from someone who played under the man at Udinese. Very good morning to Al Ali and Nigeria defender William Troost-Ekong. Morning, William.
Good morning, William. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you for coming on, mate.
Great to see you, mate.
What can Spurs fans expect from Igor then?
Well, we heard a little bit about it in the clip. We had him 2 times at Udinese. He's a manager that likes to play 3-5-2 or a variation of it. From what my experience was, of course, attacking football. He high back line, tries to press high, can be quite direct, and he's definitely a personality. So if they need someone to shake up the place and get everyone going, then he's definitely the right person for it. So. Like mentioned before, the North London derby probably the perfect game to start, and he's definitely also someone who's not intimidated by anything like that. So a big personality, and he's going to get everyone trying to run through a brick wall. So I think that's probably been my experience with him.
Ask you, William. You mentioned he's a big personality, and you would suggest he's going to have to be to take this job, because when you look at it, what was he?
Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. And last night you were in my room. And now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me, bit of Ed Sheeran there. 35 years of age today.
Is that all he has?
35. What a career he's had.
It's Craig David, man. I've not got a clue.
Craig David.
I thought it was.
Oh, it's Ed Sheeran. I've loved him from the A-Team onwards, you know.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. Castle on the Hill. Bianca, when I'm on tour, doesn't like Ed Sheeran.
No.
And of course, on my playlist, it's dotted with Ed Sheeran stuff. You know.
Surprises me.
Yeah.
Out of all the modern stuff, would that be a go-to, can I, Ed Sheeran?
I wouldn't say it was my go-to necessarily, you know, because there are different genres, aren't there? Yeah, but yeah, I would always listen to a bit of Ed Sheeran. That is for sure. But just actually,
He's an Ipswich man, isn't he? Is it?
he's an Ipswich man. Oh yeah, absolutely, through and through and through. It was also, or it would have been, by the way, just to turn the clock back a bit, you know, musical education, we have it at this time of the
Yes,
morning.
we do. We're allowed it. We're allowed it.
Absolutely.
We can't take that away from us.
Gene Pitney would have been
Gene Pitney.
66 today.
Gene
Now-
Pitney.
Yeah.
He'd have been what?
60. He would have been 66 today, but he died when he was. He would have been a lot older than 66.
Oh, aye.
He died when he was 66.
Yes.
On tour, by the way, in Cardiff. I think he had a heart attack. So Gene Pitney was responsible not only for 24 Hours from Tulsa, but
What was the other one?
the first single I bought. The first
Go tell me.
single I bought.
Was it a massive hit?
It was a big hit.
Because I think, did Mark Almond and whoever his group were record a Gene Pitney song? They did.
Did
They
they?
did.
It wasn't I'm Gonna Be Strong, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Well, that was the one that I bought. First single ever. You know, in the 60s. If anybody's got... You all remember, what was your first single that you bought?
Steve Harley, Come Up and See Me. Make Me
Oh, what a great
Cockney
song.
Rebel, Come up and see me and make me smile. What a song.
Brilliant. I'd love to know your first single. I'd love to know
Yeah.
the first single
That's the
that
one.
you went out and
Steve
bought.
Harley and Cockney
Steve Harley
Rebel.
and Cockney
I
Rebel.
ended up buying I went out, I got right into Steve Harley, Cockney Rebel.
Yeah.
Ended up buying the albums, The Human Menagerie, Psycho Modo. Brilliant.
Brilliant stuff, yeah. Steve Harley, Gene Pitney, what was yours? Love to hear from you. And just a quick word before we move on. Jordan says, Jeff, don't rule out Ipswich. 2 games in hand, 16 games to play. It's going to the wire.
Mate,
I get that, Jordan, but you don't want games in hand. You really don't want games in hand. You want the points on the board, and I think they're 7 and 8 behind at the moment. Middlesbrough got a great run of fixtures coming up as well, starting at home to Oxford this week. I know it's a madcap league, so you can't take anything for granted. And what worries me about Ipswich, they just throw in the odd disappointing performance away from home, losing at Leicester, losing at Sheffield United, losing at Wrexham, losing at Blackburn. That's what worries me about Ipswich. But hey, Jordan, not ruling them out.
Jordan,
I'm stupid,
no way,
but
man.
not that stupid. All right, time now for a look at the morning's papers.
Back page review on talkSPORT.
And Angelina Kelly is back with us in the
morning.
studio to have a browse through those back pages. Hi, Angelina.
Good morning. As you can imagine, Macclesfield is all over the back pages. Agony for Mac. Schoolboy error because Sam Heathcote, who scored the own goal, is actually a PE teacher. Bless him.
Hey, that is such a harsh. That is such a disgracefully harsh
terrible.
headline.
Yeah.
Some sub-editor thinks he's being clever. I mean, seriously.
Yep, schoolboy error, PE teacher, blunder, sinks Mac. But obviously, Brentford deserved the win, but no shame in Macclesfield's game. I think that they've been brilliant, and these are the types of stories that we love to hear with the FA Cup. Keith Andrews went and spoke to them at full time, so that was, I don't know, I think if I was one of the players, I'd be wanting more. If Pep came in, I'd probably be a bit more excited, but not to be rude to Keith Andrews or anything, but he is doing very well. So obviously Macclesfield all over the back pages. Tyson Fury as well, so this is the 5th time that he's coming back. He's retired 5 times.
He must be running Sinatra close now.
Yeah. It must be. Let's be honest.
It must be a dead
You
heat.
never, ever take him seriously.
No.
He says that's it. You just don't,
It's not that shocking, is it? And he's talking about the reasons why he's coming back from retirement. He said that boxing's gone down a bit of a downward slope. He's said that AI has backed him up and has said that, pretty much boxing is everything with Tyson Fury. I mean, if you're having to search yourself on ChatGPT, not too sure about that. And he did speak about the turning point for him being the fatal car crash involving his rival Anthony Joshua, which sadly killed 2 of Joshua's friends. He said that it made him realise that tomorrow isn't necessarily promised. But then he cannot stop going for Alexander Usyk, can he? Because he called him a cheat. He said, I never agree that he beat me. He cheated. He's pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. I don't need a psychologist to help me get over those defeats because they weren't defeats. We'll get into more of it later with Gareth A. Davies and Johnny Fisher, but are we happy to see him back or just kind of over it at this point?
Well, I don't know where Jeff is, and I don't mind it, right? But I don't mind it because
it's entertaining.
That's exactly what it is. I can understand maybe a lot of people have had enough of it, but
he's the biggest draw in boxing.
Correct.
He is the one that puts bums on seats more than anybody else.
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to see him fight. And I am not the biggest boxing fan, but Tyson Fury.
You'll tune in.
Yeah, I want to watch him.
Yeah, definitely. Elsewhere on the back of the Sun, there's a fear about Jude Bellingham being injured for another 6 weeks. So I went to the Nations League draw last week in Brussels and I spoke to Thomas Tuchel about Bellingham, and he said that he had been in touch and he was, he really wanted Jude to be able to be a part of the next camp. He said that Jude is very determined. He kind of hinted that maybe there was a bit of reservation from Real Madrid. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit protective. Obviously, he will be fit for the World Cup, but does the lack of time training under Thomas Tuchel, is that a bit of a concern?
Oh, it'd have to be a concern, yeah. I mean, you can look at it in another way, of course, if you want to be completely half full and say the injury will make him, if he's back fit, he'll just about perfect fitness and perfect timing for the World Cup, which I think, if I was Jude Bellingham, I'd certainly be looking to that. It's a blow. There's no getting away from it. It ain't a disaster. So if it's a hamstring, it's not a disaster, but it's a blow.
Yeah. It'd be a disaster if it was the World Cup.
Correct.
Games in March. Who cares?
Yeah.
Seriously, who cares?
Do you think that he'll still be at the forefront of England going into this World? He's still going to be the star of the show, isn't he?
Well, I'll be one of the stars.
He may not be the star of the show. He may not start.
I mean, who would you have as your number 10
Morgan
right
Rogers. Never mind who I'd have. I think Tuchel was a Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
I really do.
The thing about Tuchel, what he's shown us already quite clearly is that he is a man who has his views and he sticks to them.
Yeah.
If he's decided that Morgan Rogers is the number 10, then Morgan Rogers will be the number 10 until he lets him down.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I like. I'm liking Thomas Tuchel. I like.
So am I,
spoke
because
to
I
him
think-
twice, and he seems really nice person as well.
I really like him. I think he's great company. He's endearing. I met him over at the World Cup draw, and I just think, I think I get a good vibe off him. And from England's point of view, I genuinely don't think upsetting people, which you have to do as a coach and a manager, I don't think that'll come into play with him at all. He'll just pick a squad, and particularly a team that he thinks will get games won. I don't think there's any doubt about that. When you look back at the great players that England had, when and they're all maybe perhaps an argument for trying to wedge them all into a side, that great midfield, maybe Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard, all that. And I don't think, for example, Tuchel that would entertain anything like that at all. And that's why I honestly believe, as I mentioned before, I think it was a big game tomorrow. I think Morgan Rogers starts as he's 10.
Yeah, definitely. And just very, very quickly, a story on the Sun about Arteta moving Saka into the number 10 role. Do you think that could benefit Saka?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't like to prejudge it.
It seemed like a needs must at first, didn't it? But
I don't see him as a 10.
I don't
see him as a 10
think
at
you're
all.
dead right, Angela. It's a needs must.
Yeah.
I don't see that continuing.
No, I understand that it needs much situation, but no, I think he looked far more.
They bought Eze to be a number 10, didn't they?
Yeah. What was your first single?
Oh, you know what? The one that I actually bought, and this is going to show my age probably. I'm trying to think.
Well, that's the whole object.
Yeah, I know. I think it was probably a band like McFly or something.
Oh,
like that. I think it was.
Right, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Angelina, thanks very much indeed.
Not that interesting.
Clearly, I've got a million of them. I couldn't tell you a single McFly single, but hey.
I think I'd actually struggle to tell you now, to be honest.
That was a bit of conversation killer.
So, Ian in Hull, Flying Pickets, Only You.
Oh, I remember
yeah, brilliant. Mike from Gloucester, beautiful South Rotterdam. What a single! I was only 8 years old. By the way, Something's Gotten Hold of My Heart. That was the song you were thinking about.
And I'm right, Amina.
I don't know. I mean, Buzz from Corby, I've never heard of this. Alternate Ulster from SLF. Any options?
Soft Cell.
Soft Cell. Yeah. Okay. Alternate Ulster, you ever heard of that?
Alternative Ulster?
Yeah.
Stiff Little Fingers?
Oh,
tremendous.
All right.
Absolutely tremendous.
Sorry, I didn't
song.
understand the abbreviation SLF.
Yes. Stiff Little Fingers,
mate.
Jake Burns and Henry Clooney.
Thanks for that, Buzz.
They play, just for the record, they play the Barrowland every St Paddy's night, and it's sensational.
Griff from Kings Lynn, Paper Plane, Status Quo,
Yes.
That's my generation.
Yes.
Paul says, Up the Villa, Baggy Trousers, Madness.
Oh.
Jay and Lester says, Lola, the Kinks, as a sensational
What a song.
So Martin the Builder, who's an Arsenal fan, says, Return of the Mac, Mark Morrison, big tune. And Darren from Uddingston says, my first single was Cotton Eye Joe.
Good night, Joe. Not remember that one. No, it wasn't a classic.
Thankfully, no, I don't remember it. I don't want to remember it. He said, I bought it from Woolies in Bells Hill on Boxing Day with my Christmas money. Oh, man. Surely, Darren, there must have been better investments for your Christmas savings.
Had to be.
Brilliant.
You'd have been better get a pick and mix, wee man.
Yeah, look, we'll have a lot more of those during the course of the morning. Coming up, though, we'll turn our attention back to the situation of Burnley, where the fans are beginning to question Scott Parker. That's next. headlines this morning. Yusuf Chamiti struck a hat-trick as Rangers pulled closer to Scottish Premier League leaders Hearts with a 4-2 win at Ibrox. He'd scored 4 in 28 for Rangers before yesterday's hat-trick. Arsenal have endured a fresh injury blow in the shape of defender Ricardo Calafiori, forced to pull out of the starting 11 minutes before their win over Wigan. Wolves and Arsenal. Wolves coming up this week for the Gunners. Manager Mikel Arteta admitted he is worried about the situation.
Yes, and especially because we are going through. Before it was the strikers, then it was the defenders, now it's the midfielders. But we are still coping with that. But yeah, we need some players back and fit, and to give us as well not only numbers, but different options in relation to the opponents that we have. So the quicker they are, the better.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got. You know, I know they've had some injuries, but the squad is humongous.
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931 when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. With over 20,000 used cars online to choose from, they'll have the car for you. Just coming out at 6:35 Tuesday, February the 17th. Peter in Newcastle, first single was My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
Brilliant.
Definitely goes down as a classic.
Yeah.
Tony and Tonbridge, I'm not sure yours goes down as a classic, but remember it well, Tony. Sham 69. Hurry up, Harry.
Oh, yes. Jimmy Purcey and the boys. My wee mate ended up on stage with them one time at Glasgow Apollo.
Did he?
He did. We lost him. Wee Sammy tragically just passed away the other week. You know, he went missing. We used to jump in the bus for East Bride, and when where's Sammy? And next minute, I swear to God, Jeff, the speakers, massive big speakers. He jumps off the speakers on the left hand side and goes up and sings. Jimmy Purcey puts his arm round him, and the two of them sing. This is at Glasgow Apollo, by the way. If the Kids Are United.
Oh, wow.
Right? So a great story, and it doesn't finish well. So he doesn't get back in, obviously. So we always used to go to the Blue Lagoon, the Chippy, which is right next to the Glasgow Polo.
The Blue Lagoon.
So we're in the Blue
Lagoon. Name for a Chippy.
Brilliant, way to tell you, Jeff. So we're in the Blue Lagoon. We're going, what about Sammy? I mean, we were only 15, 16. What about Sammy? That was unbelievable. Blah, blah, blah. Next minute, Sammy appears at the front door. What a doing the bouncers have gave him, right? I swear to God. He's got a big black eye. He's got a cut. And he looked at us and he went, worth every punch. Brilliant.
Rachel A. Whitley Bay, first single was Baggy Trousers by Madness, bought in Woolworths on Castle Douglas High Street.
There you are.
In the summer holidays. It's great how, the memory of a song from many years ago brings back great memories. Look, let's flick our attention back to the bottom of the Premier League table and to Burnley, who failed to back up that big win over Crystal Palace in the Premier League with a cup exit to League One. Mansfield, 9 changes, mind you, in Scott Parker's side. Parker spoke after the game, didn't hold back with his frustration over the result.
The FA Cup can bring surprises, and you never want to be that team. And you've seen it throughout this year, this competition. Other teams going out to lower league. So yeah, it's a tough one, and certainly even more so after felt like the momentum we had after midweek as well. It makes it even more disappointing. I think that's the most frustrating thing, really. You come out of a positive result against Crystal Palace, noise dies down a little bit in terms of the general noise around the place, and obviously the result today increases that noise again, and so that was disappointing. We came into the game wanting to win it, of course, and we should have won it. But if you don't put your chances away what we create today, then you can be on the end of a bad result, and that was the case.
So what's next for Burnley? And Scott Parker, pleased to say, joining us now to give the thoughts of a fan is Burnley faithful and podcaster Natalie Bromley. Morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, good morning.
So look, Natalie, out of the FA Cup, Scotty made 9 changes. Were you bothered?
Yes, hugely. What else did we have left this season?
Well, survival in the Premier League.
That's gone. That was gone 3 months ago. We are cut so far adrift from the rest of the Premier League. And you look at that and you think, if Burnley survive, who goes down instead of us? I think it was a really naive decision by Scott Parker, one of many naive decisions he's made this season. We are not going to survive the Premier League this season. So he talks about the noise around the club. He talks about his frustration about the narrative and the frustration of the fans and the pressure that's on him. Then he makes 9 changes in the only competition we've got left to play for, and the only opportunity that he has to try and instill some confidence into the club and some good feeling into the club. And he puts the squad is really weak at Burnley. The first team's not great. But why? Why not make that? Why not put out your strongest team and try and get a result there? A cup run could have salvaged something this season, and I'm hugely disappointed in him and frustrated.
Natalie, tell me, in terms of the league, I must admit, I thought it was a tremendous result, particularly coming back from 2-0 down at Palace. But does it make matters worse when you look around you and see, for the first time in a couple of seasons, actually what can be achieved from newly promoted sides?
Absolutely. Now, you've got to think back to last season. Burnley finished 24 points higher up the table than Sunderland did. Yes, they've spent, but we've spent the same amount of money, maybe slightly less 2 seasons ago under Vincent Kompany. It's not just about spending the money, it's about spending money well. And our recruitment over the past 2-3 seasons has been really, really poor. I'm not really sure what the transfer policy is at Burnley. We seem to be buying unknown players, very cheap across Europe, very young players that don't have an awful lot of experience, and they're basically a commodity rather than a good option to improve the first team and actually survive in the Premier League. Now, I think one thing that we do have to make sure we note here, Burnley were hamstrung a little bit in the summer transfer window because we had to pay probably about 50-60 million in transfer fees of players that we bought on loan last season, that we had mandatory purchase triggers when we got promoted to the Premier League, and those were players who are not in the first team and those players who simply aren't good enough for the Premier League. Now, that obviously made our transfer budget a lot smaller, but the players that we've brought in are just really, really poor players. I thought, as much as he's an incredible individual, and I hate saying this, the manager was a very poor choice. It was a good choice for the Championship. Just though, I would add, we very nearly missed out on automatic promotion last season. It wasn't because of a Sheffield United capitulation very close to the end of the season, and Chris Wilder had a bit of a blow up with his players and his fans that I think if you remember, they lost 3 games inexplicably in a week and we leapfrogged them into automatic. So we were actually heading for the playoffs all of last season. We were in 3rd for most of the season. But he has now proven at Fulham, at Bournemouth and now at Burnley that unfortunately he does have a ceiling as a manager. So if we stick with him and go back to the Championship next season, what's the plan in 2 years' time? Are we just going to have the same season again? So I'm looking for some direction from this board to actually tell us what the proper strategy is to keep us in the Premier League.
And Natalie, it's a bit harsh, isn't it, to blame it on Scotty Parker? You're right about the signings. I mean, obviously, the one that stands out is Amanda Brojo, scored once for you so far this season. He cost the same
$4 million.
Yeah, it cost the same price as Brian Brobby did for Sunderland.
Yeah.
I know who I would rather have.
Yeah.
Now, is that down to the manager? Is it down to the owners? Is it down to the director of football?
We don't have a director of football, and I think that's possibly something that needs looking at. No, I've been very clear with my analysis here, and I do like to try and stay respectful here. I do work with the Burnley board, and I do appreciate the good things that they do here. But there are question marks throughout the club. It's not just Parker's fault. Parker has been hamstrung with a poor squad and some poor decisions here. The board, there's a lack of communication and there's a lack of directive, and I think there's been mistakes all the way through the club this year. I just don't know. We've gone from being, before our current owners took over, we went from being an established Premier League club under Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche was sacked very, very soon after they took over because they felt that the club needed a change because we were in a relegation zone and results weren't going our way. Yet under their stewardship, Vincent Kompany was allowed an entire appalling season. Scott Parker's been allowed a worse season. And if you look at the results in the Premier League since our current owners took over, we've got progressively worse every time we've gone up. So I'm asking them to come out and tell us what the plan is. What is your model? What are you doing to this club? There's been some subtle changes that have happened around the club with regards to branding and our identity. And at the moment, we just don't feel very Burnley. And I'm looking for that to change. We write off this season. We have to do. I think everybody's just miserable. The Premier League seasons are challenging. I've talked to you about this before. But if you've got some fighting in, at least you are trying your best, then, you can get in the trenches together and you can at least go for it. This season has just been a nothingness, and I'm not sure who we are at the moment, so that has to change.
Natalie, love your passion.
Absolutely.
Love your passion.
No doubt about that.
Look, thanks very much for joining
Thanks,
us
Natalie,
again.
all the best.
Thanks, bye.
Wow, and she is passionate, isn't she? Personally, I think stick with Scotty Parker, give him the chance to bring you back, but it's easy to say from the outside. I know that.
Well, in current form, you'd have to Scotty Parker probably get a move.
First singles. Sometimes you shouldn't admit these things, by the way. Phil in Broadstairs. I'll give you the first line and you'll know it, I think. Underground, overground.
Wombling Free.
Yeah, the Wombling song by the Wombles.
Oh, that was poor from me, actually admitting to knowing that.
If things get worse, by the way.
How many Wombles can you name?
Oh, Uncle Bulgaria.
Orinoco.
That's it.
Tobermory.
All right.
And this is ridiculous. We've gone to naming the Wombles.
Yeah. Mike says the first ever 45 I bought was Goodbye to Jane from the one and only Slade.
Yes.
He said I bought it from...
Goodbye to Jane. Goodbye to Jane.
He said he bought it from Woolies, and it makes you wonder, how did Woolies ever get into financial trouble? Because everybody bought all of their singles from Woolies.
I know, but my mates were stealing for the pick and mix.
Kevin in Corbridge says first single was The Last Time by the Stones in 1965. Brilliant. Yeah. Not so brilliant, though. Dave in Southport. My first single was My Boomerang Won't Come Back by Charlie Drake. Hey, Dave, brave of you to own up, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Brave of you to own up, pal. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
My boomerang won't come back.
Kill me that one. I didn't have Charlie Drake. Doesn't mean he's not really Lennon and McCartney.
Oh, goodness me.
Charlie Drake.
Yeah. Now, this man has been making the headlines in the world of boxing once again.
I came back for one reason only, and that's to make boxing great again. And I didn't say that. An AI, the cleverest AI on earth, said that, ChatGPT. So believe that.
We'll be getting a couple of perspectives on Tyson Fury's return to boxing and those comments. talkSPORT's boxing correspondent Gareth A. Davis will be having his say a bit later on.
Go to a break quick.
That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
I don't think they're close to the teams of the past, by the way. They're not anywhere near the teams of the past.
They're miles off. But what he's doing is doing what he's required to get this group of players to the level that he needs them at. Right, and that's Martin's style of management: encouragement, positive reinforcement, positive projection of mental imagery. I wanted to ask you about the chaos that we are talking about in Scottish football and the conventional wisdom thrown out the door. You've got Brendan Rodgers going out the door causing mayhem, Dermot Desmond filling him in. You've got Rangers bringing a manager in that falls apart and the descent there. You've got Hearts in the mix. Is all this good? Because it's drawn my attention to Scottish football. It's drawn lots of people. Is this good for the product?
Yes, I think so. If you look at yesterday's, Simon, there was a big hole in the schedule at Sky Sports because they don't have the FA Cup.
Yep.
And those two games went on, and I thought they were. You're right about the quality of the Kilmarnock Celtic game. It was a different kind of game from Rangers Hearts.
Yeah.
But you've got 11 goals. There's no VAR controversy. End-to-end games. I think it was great. I think Hearts coming into the midst of the chaos at Rangers and Celtic, with Tony Bloom giving them stability and a real leg up, has been great for the game. I think Motherwell in fourth place, taking points off all of them, has been terrific for the game. Anything that stops us being a 1 or 2 horse race has got to be a good thing.
Yeah, good. I agree as well.
So Bill, you don't have an allegiance to Rangers or Celtic. So would you? Or Hearts. So would it not be better for Scottish football for Hearts to win this, really?
Yes.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Some of the headlines this morning: Haji Wright fired a hat-trick, Coventry beating Middlesbrough 3-1 to go back to the top of the championship table. We'll be joined by Haji later in the show. Tyson Fury's promised to make boxing great again as he's come out of retirement for a 5th time. He'll fight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April the 11th, and making the headlines are your first ever singles that you bought. Paul, travelling from Warwick to Warwick from Wrexham. Morning, Paul. Says, first single I bought was Hey You by the Rocksteady Crew in 1985. Yeah. Remember that?
There's some great ones.
I'll tell you what you won't remember. The England World Cup squad song from Spain 1982. I didn't remember it. Mark was 6 at the time he bought it, and it's called We'll Fly the Flag. I mean, there are just some brilliant suggestions, aren't there?
Great for Georgie in Glasgow. It's Sheena as a punk rocker by the Ramones, Joey Ramones.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant. Another one, you're not, well, I'm saying you won't know this one, Echo and the Bunnymen, The Cutter.
Yeah, I remember
Classic
Echo and
song.
the Bunnymen. That's, yeah, absolutely,
Classic.
for sure. Look, here's an absolute classic for me. And it's from Mark. He says, "Hi, Jeff and I. My dear old mum took me to see Crackerjack. Crackerjack in 1968.
It's Friday, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and it's Crackerjack. Yeah. And the guest band were The Move.
No.
With Roy Wood. Oh, my goodness. And the song they sang was Blackberry Way. He said, I went out on a boat
What a
the next day with
song.
my dad when I was in a brilliant song. Brilliant band as well.
not
weren't they?
half.
Things like
Roy
Fire
Wood.
Brigade and Curly and the
Talented
Brontosaurus. You know, I went to one of those shows when I was a kid. I might have told you this before. I went to the 5 o'clock club, which was on at 5 o'clock on ITV. And there was this bloke wearing his sunglasses in the studio was singing. I thought, who's this? You know, I want to see some sort of teeny bop group. I'm bored with this. It was Roy Orbison.
No, not the big O.
Became one of my heroes, you know.
Tremendous.
And when I think back, I'm so embarrassed
See
by
when
it.
listen, see when you think of some of the songs that man has written and sang.
Yeah.
Absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
The big O.
Carly Margaret says, "Squeeze, take me, I'm yours." And before we move on, because we better move on, Tony says, "Love grows when my rosemary grows." One-hit wonders, ultimate one-hit wonders, I think. Edison Lighthouse.
Where my rosemary goes.
Right, sad news. Last night, as legendary actor and filmmaker Robert Duvall passed away, aged 95. Won an Oscar, didn't he, for his part in Tender Mercies? I think it was his only Oscar, 7 nominations, only Oscar. Probably best remembered for his roles in The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
But our personal favourite, well, that could only be A Shot to Glory.
In the small village of Kilnockie, not much ever changes.
Should try this new invention, Gordon, called a car.
But now,
It is, of course, the recent signing by Kilnockie of Jackie McQuillan.
Scotland's most notorious star soccer player has been chosen to boost the town's struggling team.
This guy's going to give us the punch we need, Gordon, to make a run at the cup. Don't you want to win a cup?
Teams win the cup, Peter, not prima donnas reminiscing their past glory.
Academy Award winner Robert Duvall, Michael Keaton, and introducing Ally McCoist.
They are all driven, stubborn, selfish, and as competitive as a pack of street dogs.
This is our shot at glory, lads. All right? All right?
A shot at glory.
You were a headliner.
I don't think there's no need or no requirement for the hysterics the other side of that window, by the way. Oh, my great memories, Jeff. I mean, honestly, fantastic. I mean, he was just, I'm saying, he was great to work with. I mean, he was just a breath of fresh air. He really was. There was no airs or graces about him at all. Just, honestly, he was just one of the boys. It was phenomenal. And I mentioned to you earlier on the show, it was as if he was amazed and transfixed by the boys when there was a break in filming. We used to, whether we put up crates or put up a net, we'd set up a head and we'd be playing heady tennis, you know, and he just used to sit there and watch us. And it was brilliant because, believe it or not, he had his own trailer, as you'd imagine. And I actually had one as well, right? I did.
You star.
But you can
so
imagine.
Robert Duvall and Ally McCoist have their own trailers.
But here's the best here. Right, I swear to God.
Did you have the star on your door?
No, I didn't. But I did have my own trailer. But you can imagine what it's like. We're filming every day. Of course, my trailer became the lads' trainer. So Robert Duvall had his own trainer, and my trailer was shared with about 17 of the lads. Oh, it was great. And we were all over Scotland. We were up at St Andrews. We were in Crail. We actually did a bit of filming down in Langbank, and it was just brilliant, great, an incredible period, a wonderful memory, and a great story. We played, we shot the final on a Sunday at Hampden, and there was over 30,000 people come to watch. And I think there was a League Cup semi-final on the Tuesday, and there was only about 22,000. There was over 30,000 came to watch the filming on the Sunday.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Right.
So, I mean, no sort of Hollywood ego.
Nothing. Absolutely
like
nothing. And you know something else? I mean, I mentioned it earlier on. Incredibly fit. As I say, he used to ride out a lot. I think he stayed in, at that particular time, I want to say North Carolina. We get a Christmas card every year. From him and Luciana. Always get a Christmas card. Amazing. It was wonderful. And as I say, incredibly fit. He used to ride his horses in his ranch, but he danced. And it was his wife Luciana I'm sure she was South American, and he loved the South American dancing. Incredibly fit man.
Oh. Yeah, no, I think he still kept up the training and the tennis and things, well into his 80s, certainly.
What a catalogue of movies. What a catalogue of movies.
Incredible. Everybody
John Wayne,
Godfather, obviously.
He worked with John Wayne. He worked with Brando.
Wasn't it, early days?
It's a brilliant story. I'll tell you about him. He used to tell us when he was first making it out, or, attempting to become an actor, he moved, I think it was into New York, and he shared a flat or a kind of apartment. He didn't have any money. And he shared an apartment with two hopeful upcoming actors.
I know one of them was Dustin Hoffman.
Correct. Absolutely.
Who was the other?
Gene Hackman. He tells a brilliant story. He says Gene Hackman was married at the time, right? I think probably still to his good lady, but sadly passed away. He said, but Gene Hackman was married at the time. He said, but him and Dustin Hoffman used to have a bit of a time. He used to tell us. Brilliant. Imagine that two ball going out.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was just looking back. In those days, this is a young Alistair McCoist. He must have been dreaming of Hollywood. And here he is, sitting here in the talkSPORT studios with me at 6:57 on a Tuesday morning. Where did it all go wrong, Coisty, eh? First singles, Jill says, hi, my Herberts. First single was David Essex, Gonna Make You a Star.
Yes.
The Ogster says, Roxy Music, Virginia Plain.
Brilliant.
Was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Brian Ferry way ahead.
I like Street Life when it was Street Life.
Street Life was
brilliant.
Yeah, great. Rob says Metal Guru. T-Rex. And by the way, Al from Hamilton. That's Something's Gotten a Hold of My Heart that we mentioned.
Yes.
Gene Pitney originally. Mark Armand. He said Robson and Jerome covered it as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I don't remember that version.
Remember that one.
And I'll be honest, I don't really want to remember that version, do you?
Can't remember it, mate.
Brilliant. It's 6:58 when we come back in a couple of minutes' time. We'll be taking a look back at how Coventry bounced back to the top of the championship table last night.
Labour MPs, they say, listen, Keir, your position is untenable. This is all about appointing that rat, Peter Mandelson.
We've now had another resignation from number 10. The plot is thickening, the noose is tightening.
His failings are internal. He's useless, incompetent, has no political judgment.
This is all part of Starmer's reset, getting rid of his inner circle. So Chris Wormold, we think fairly reluctantly, has stepped down.
What an absolutely crazy week for Keir Starmer. His second cabinet secretary, gone. His third chief of staff, gone. His fourth director of communications, gone.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this.
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pittodrie on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. And Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. We were asking you for the first single that you ever bought. I think you're making them up. John, the Spurs fan, says yes. Zig and Zag.
Yeah. That was
who were Zig and Zag?
Zig and Zag were the two guys. I want to say it, not the ones out the Muppets, but they're out a programme, a kind of kids programme. It might have been not Blue Peter, but something like that. I'm almost convinced.
Them girls.
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying a single, I don't think.
No. Mogul Dave says Ride a White Swan T-Rex.
T-Rex, great song.
And you remember this? Gary and Dunstable says first single, Ça plane pour moi.
Plastic Bertrand.
Plastic Bertrand, yeah.
Ça plane pour moi.
I think it means something like, that does it for me.
Is it something like that?
Something like that, anyway.
I don't think he had too many other hits, Mr. Bertrand. Did he?
I know.
Plastic.
One and over only. Alex in Milton Keynes, a Chelsea fan, says Oliver's Army by Elvis Costello, who did have a million other hits. He was absolutely
tremendous.
Look, on the way for you this morning, apart from your first ever singles, we'll look back on that incredible Macclesfield journey, and we'll be talking to, well, the man who sort of kicked the revival at Macclesfield off, if you like.
Certainly did.
And that is one Robbie Savage.
Yeah.
A newly appointed Blackburn Rovers boss, Michael O'Neill. He'll be with us. We'll be having a chat to him to see how he's going to juggle that job and the Northern Ireland job. And Jose Mourinho has told his Benfica players that Real Madrid are a wounded king. We'll be taking a closer look at whether Jose could pull off some magic once again in the Champions League playoffs tonight. Well, he's Jose, so of course he could. All that to come and more, but right now it was a pivotal night in the battle at the top of the Championship last night, live on talkSPORT 2.
The lights are on. Let the two heavyweights go head-to-head. Let the drama unfold. Now Radoni with a tight angle, and Wright has turned it in! Coventry lead!
Looking to wear down Coventry, who are kind of resorting to just booting it along to Hadji Wright at the moment.
And Wright is in! It's two! No ball in, shot is blocked, rebound McGree in! 2-1! Hadji Wright is this the hat-trick here for Coventry. It is! Right into the bottom corner! It's been 25 years since they were in the top flight. Is that going to end this season? Is it Coventry's year? Coventry are back on top of the Championship. A statement win and performance from the Sky Blues. Coventry 3, Middlesbrough 1.
Yeah, it was a big win for Coventry, no question of that. Sent them back to the top of the table. Joining us now for a little more on this is talkSPORT's resident EFL expert, Adrian Clark. Morning, Clarky.
Morning, Clarky. How are you, pal?
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. I'm all right. It was a great game. It was a pleasure
to be there
last night. Yeah, I was lucky to have a ticket, lucky to work for talkSPORT too, and the game, it lived up to the hype. It really did.
It was a real contrast of styles, wasn't it? Borough, pass. Coventry, little bit more direct, little bit more physical. And they couldn't handle Hadji Wright, could they?
They couldn't. No, I mean, even if he hadn't have got his hat-trick, he'd have been a contender for man of the match because his work rate was incredible. And the key to the victory was Coventry's game plan, and it was a two-parter from Frank Lampard. So Middlesbrough are a brilliant passing team. They're superb on the ball. So they pressed them, and they were brave, and they went after Middlesbrough, and they kept winning the ball back inside the opposition half. They were so hostile, so aggressive, and it set the tone, and it got them 1-0 in front. And then in the second half, they dropped off a little bit. They went a bit deeper and said, all right, you can come at us, but we'll just break on you. And they did that part of the game fantastically well as well. So, yeah, I think Frank Lampard definitely had a good night, and he must be so proud of his players because they grafted. I mean, I was worn out just watching it, guys. Yeah. It was one of those breathless evenings, high standard, and Coventry needed it big time.
Tell me, Clarky, I mean, you mentioned it, and Frank will be absolutely delighted, but just give me a little bit more in the importance of that result, because it was a kind of double-edged sword for me, Clarky, in the respect that people, and myself included, were looking at Coventry thinking, are they just dipping a little bit? So not only did they kind of have to win, but at the same time, they kind of put Middlesbrough, who've been in tremendous form, put their gas at a peep. So, I mean, it was a kind of double-edged sword.
Yeah, it was a double whammy. They needed it big time because Borough had won 6 on the spin. Borough had been unbelievable since Kim Helberg came in. They just played this sort of scintillating brand of football. All the momentum is with Middlesbrough, and Coventry have none. Yes, they've won a couple of games, but I think just 2 in 8, and it was all going a bit flat. They'd stopped scoring goals. The forward players had gone a touch flat, and they were desperate for a lift. And this was the perfect lift. And at the same time, they get the bonus, Ali, of sort of, just giving a little dig in the stomach to Middlesbrough, who you'll now look at and say, well, how are you going to react to a setback like this? I'm sure they'll be fine. They're a brave team, Middlesbrough. They'll continue to play their football, but maybe Coventry showed the way, showed the other teams how you can beat Middlesbrough. So they might have to find a plan B at some point between now and the end of the season. But they're still a top team.
Yeah, look for me, with all due respect to Ipswich, I we saw the two sides last night who are going to be the automatic promoted sides. Yeah, I tell you who I think might be important for Coventry for the rest of the season, Clarky, is Frank Onyeka. Made his debut last night. I thought he was really effective in that midfield.
Well, if you're named or nicknamed Frank the Tank, you've got to make sure you're aggressive and you get around the pitch and you throw your weight around. And he did, didn't he? Goodness me, he was everywhere, and that's probably one of the things that Coventry fans had said was missing from their team. That little bit of sort of strength and power in the middle of the park. They got good footballers, but maybe that was what was missing. So it was the right signing at the right time, and what a debut! And when he came off, everyone around us inside the ground just rose to their feet. That's what you call a dream debut, when you get a standing ovation. So, yeah, he could be a difference maker. They've signed a couple of other good players as well. Romain Essa, who came off the bench last night, is a talent. So, yeah, I think Coventry fans will be feeling so much better, so much more relaxed now. I wouldn't write off Ipswich.
No chance, Clarky. I'm not writing Ipswich off. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you what, while I'm at it, what a season. What a season, Millwall and Hull.
Yeah, unbelievable. Honestly, you wouldn't have had either side down as playoff contenders. Yeah, no, it is brilliant, because Hull have been sort of going through managers, willy-nilly, and everyone thought, they might be fighting relegation, but they've been great. But Millwall, for me, are the story. They're still in the mix here. Yeah. Millwall's budget I don't know it, but I would imagine it would be bottom half, and Alex Neil's doing a great job. They're as you would expect a Millwall team to be. They're solid defensively. They're brilliant at set pieces. They're aggressive. But what they've also got this season, some really talented young players. They're really exciting. A lot of guys that are improving game by game. Femi Aziz is a player to look out for on the right wing. He's a real talent. I look at him as Mill's Saka. He delivers the goals and the assists at key moments. So yeah, Millwall will feel that they're very much in the mix. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, if Millwall got to the Premier League? I'd love it. But Coventry...
I'm not sure lovely is the word that most people would use, Clarky.
Lovely, did you say?
Yeah, not for the teams that play.
All those West Ham fans are thinking, oh, lovely, Millwall are in the Premier League.
Smashing.
Oh, a great story. But Coventry, I think it's been 25 years since... I think they're in the top flight, and they've knocked on the door, haven't they? They've been unlucky the last few years. Yeah. I feel like this has to be their time, and from what I saw last night, I'm confident that Cov can do it. So I wish it's going to be exciting. I think 14 games left,
plenty to go.
It's so many important games to come. But for Coventry, they've played all of the top 3 or 4 now, so the fixture list is getting a little bit kinder for Coventry. Can they hold their nerve and get it over the line?
Yeah. Clarky, thanks very much.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, nice one, boys. See ya.
Don't go anywhere, by the way, if you're a Coventry fan. We'll be chatting to Haji Wright.
Yeah, great.
Just after 9 o'clock. First singles ever bought. Simon from Dartford. He bought Father Abraham and Christmas in Smurfing Land.
Yeah.
He said, Simon says, I was only 6. Simon, that's no excuse, pal. Seriously, no excuse. And Winston, who's a Chesterfield fan, says, slightly embarrassing. My first single was Wigfield Saturday night.
Yes.
Carl says, my first single with my own money was Radio Radio by Elvis Costello. Before that, my mum bought me Chirpy Chirpy Cheep
Cheep. Don't tell me.
In Spanish. In Spanish, while we were on holiday in Spain.
Is that middle of the road?
And I learned it was middle of the road. I learned it word for word, parrot fashion. And you know what chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep in Spanish is?
Surprisingly, I don't.
Well, it's chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep, as it happens. Didn't take much learning, Carl, to be brutally honest, did it? But well done, mate. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at Jurgen Klopp and what managerial job, if any, would entice him back to the dugout.
Thomas Tuchel signing a contract, is it because of the fact that the FA were concerned he was going to go somewhere else?
Listen, I think it is. You know, I certainly think he was on Manchester United's list. Who knows? Maybe he would have been on Tottenham's list as well. And I think that's why they had to get this done, because what you don't want, if you're the FA, and if you're an England fan, you don't want Thomas Tuchel going into the World Cup with constant speculation that he could be leaving for a Premier League club job at the end of the tournament. I think getting that out of the way, he can focus on the job in hand. I don't think England will win the World Cup. I think there's a lot that counts against England winning this World Cup.
What happens if we lose in the quarterfinals? Does he continue as England manager?
I think I don't think we should underestimate if he gets to the quarterfinal of a World Cup. When you go back pre-Gareth Southgate, which is your argument, we'd have bitten your hand off at the quarterfinal of a World Cup.
Are you going to defend me on that?
No, I'll defend you because I think Gareth Southgate should have won a European Championship. I think they should have beaten Italy in that final. However, pre-Gareth Southgate, England didn't get to quarterfinals and finals of European Championships. So I don't, and it's a tough draw, by the way. You talk about draws. I was there when the draw was made in Washington. England have got to take out some big hitters to get to a quarterfinal.
So where does he have to get to keep his job done?
I think the quarterfinal is par. I think anything beyond that is
success. Do you
agree? The likelihood is that they're going to have to go to Mexico and play Mexico in Mexico City, which is going to be a difficult thing to do, although Mexico traditionally... Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, who's with me, 7:19 on Tuesday, February the 17th. I'm miles behind on your first ever singles that you bought, by the way. I apologise. We'll get there in the end. Sally's got a great story, though. The first single I wanted to buy was Yummy, Yummy, Yummy by the Ohio Express.
You beat me there.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
You have that?
Love in my tummy.
Oh, that you. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
That's the one. So Sally wants to buy that, so she said I gave my older brother my pocket money to buy it for me. He was too embarrassed to ask for what I wanted, so he came home with Fire by the Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Oh, Sally, I bet you were delighted by that. Yeah. Well, actually, some brothers I know would just have pocketed the money instead. Now, Angelina's back with us. Hi again, Angelina.
Yes.
Hi, Angelina.
So, talking about Jurgen Klopp, because at the back of the Daily Mail, it says Klopp turned down United. Former Liverpool boss rejected the Red Devils and Chelsea after the Anfield departure. So this is all coming from his agent, who's spoken in an interview. He said that he could have even had the USA job, the England job, before joining Red Bull Group as head of football. And had it not been for Julian Nagelsmann, could have even had the Germany job. No shocks there with any of that. But even though Klopp has said he wouldn't coach another team in England, he still had offers. Man United and Chelsea deny the agent's claims when they were approached for comments. Of course.
Absolutely.
He's set to manage a Liverpool Legends game in a charity match against Borussia Dortmund, but his agent dropping this information out of nowhere, does this mean that he could be looking for another job in the summer?
He might be looking for another job, but I would be. I would that done as nonsense at Manchester United going from. I couldn't see that happening at all.
He said that he's not going to manage in the Premier League.
So why would you go?
Unless I guess he went back to Liverpool, but he's not going to manage.
Could he go back
any
to
of the
Liverpool?
other teams?
I think I could see him going back to Liverpool.
I mean, they're 6th right now. I mean, if they don't get Champions League football, you can't rule it out that slot might not be there. I'm not saying that I would want him to go because obviously what he did the season before, but there is a chance.
Of course, there's a chance, but I see Liverpool qualifying for the Champions League. I also see them going in a competitive run in the Champions League itself, and I think Arne Slot will be at Liverpool starting next season, and he should be, I think.
They say, I mean, his agent says, look, he's moved away from coaching now, and he's said to be very happy with his new role and environment. The only jobs I think would tempt him back into management are of the German national team or the English national team.
I don't disagree.
They're the two that I could see him
absolutely
coming back for.
Yeah.
I mean, Real Madrid, PSG. I mean, the Real Madrid's a big challenge for anybody, isn't it? And getting those kind of Galactico signings to do the running required, the heavy metal football, I think it would be a lot. And I know Klopp wasn't always the biggest fan of some of the media in the UK. The media around Real Madrid is
phenomenal.
Is insane. Yeah, it would.
Well, why would you risk your reputation in a job that is littered with the sort of carcasses of those who've gone before?
Yeah. And I guess, considering he was a direct rival of Pep Guardiola for several years, will he feel like maybe he should have more league titles, more Champions League titles? Because he
probably feels he should have more titles.
Would he like to get back into it maybe for that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But I mean, you've got to say, two of the best title races we've seen in years, they took Man City all the way, didn't they? I mean, and you could argue just a little bit unfortunate. He came up against Pep's side, who were, at that time, absolutely phenomenal when flying. But they gave us brilliant campaigns, the two of them, all the way to the wire.
Yeah.
One of the seasons Liverpool got a ridiculous amount of points, actually, and didn't win the title. So that, I don't think there's any doubt that would be a disappointment. He would probably feel that he should have won more titles. I was a little bit unlucky not to win more titles.
I think with the Manchester United claim, whether they spoke to him or not, that would, I mean, he's got the keys to the city of Liverpool. What's going to do? Give him back if he goes to Manchester?
Well, that's how I would be staggered if that was the case. Yeah. I don't know if you two are aware, but sometimes you can't believe that everything these agents say, right?
No.
No.
And I just feel, I mean, Manchester United, yes, they look as though they've turned the acorn at this moment in time.
I think he'd do a good job
Michael
there.
Carrick,
he'd do a brilliant job wherever he went.
I'll ask you something. Are you going to tell me prior to Michael Carrick coming in and the corner be turned a little bit, the majority of Manchester United fans would have wanted the next Liverpool manager, a very successful ex-Liverpool manager, as manager?
I think it's split, because I think some Man United fans would have found it hysterical and we've got on one hand, people would be like, oh, we're getting Liverpool sloppy seconds. Culturally, it's a massive thing. This rivalry with Man United and Liverpool is absolutely huge. Like I say, Klopp's got the keys to the city. He said, I don't imagine that the club will need my help in the future, but if the city needs me, I'm there like a superhero. Yeah. But I think some Man United fans would have found the funny side of it and would have liked to have wound up Liverpool fans about it, definitely. I think he would have done a good job just looking at him as a coach. But I do think that it's one thing, you think about the Michael Owen situation, for example. Players you don't always expect to be that loyal, really. And also, he had played for other clubs and things, but I think a manager is very different than a player.
I just think in Jurgen Klopp's case, my initial thought when I saw it was the agent, I thought, is he touting for a job? And then get a bit more thought. I just think that he's had so many highs, not just with Liverpool, but with Dortmund as well. That he probably just doesn't need it anymore,
Yeah. He'd walk into a club as one of the best managers in the world now, though, wouldn't he, after what he's achieved? And I think his agent had said that he's happy to be going down at the moment in history as one of the few coaches who only managed 3 clubs and was never sacked as well.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I also think, I don't, Jeff kind of hinted at it, I think he'd be probably at this moment time in his own career and his own life, he'd be more suited to a managerial head coach's job of a country.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, ultimately Germany will snap his hand off.
Yeah.
And maybe, depending on what happens in the Thomas Tuchel reign, maybe England would eventually as well. Of course, Tuchel having extended his contract now. Angelina, thank you very much.
Thank you, Angelina.
First singles, one that I bought. Roger says first thing was Parisian Walkways.
Gary Moore.
Oh, what a guitar!
What a tune! What a tune! Thin Lizzy, wasn't he?
We're right with you, Roger. On
Brilliant.
that. Sam in Leamington says Boomtown Rats. I don't like Mondays. I don't like Mondays either, to be brutally honest.
What a
Sam.
show.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Billy Joel says John, Uptown Girl. We can all relate to that, can't we?
Christy Brinkley, wasn't it? That was he married Christy Brinkley.
Yeah.
She was in the video.
Yeah. Great video as well, by the way. And Daz says, as a bloke whose favourite bands ended up being New Order, Talk Talk and The Prodigy, my first single was Oh Laurie by Alessi. Please keep it to yourself, lads. Oh, Daz, sorry, I didn't read that bit till I had read out what your first single was.
He's recovered well. Talk Talk, the best of Talk Talk is sensational. One of the most underrated albums going.
Ian, I don't believe you. I'm sorry, mate. I don't believe you. Just when we think it can't get much worse than Charlie Drake, My Boomerang Won't Come Back. Ian in Newcastle said, my first single was Pinky and Perky with How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
It can't be.
Well, somebody must have bought it, I suppose, you know.
He bought it in Woolworths again, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So many of them have bought them in Woolworths. It's amazing. I wish I'd had shares in Woolworths in its sort of heydays, you know. Tim says, first single I bought was Zoom by Fat Larry's band. Brilliant. I was 9 years old at the time, and I still absolutely love it. And first single, says Chris, 10-Pole Tudor.
Oh, great, yes.
Swords of a
Thousand Men. Swords of a Thousand Men. Do you not remember it?
No, can you hum it?
I'll play it for you. I probably didn't. I think there's every chance I didn't do it justice there.
And Tony says his first single.
When I left the hotel at 20, whatever it was, 5:30, I did not expect you to be asking me to hum 10-Pole Tudor.
Hey, look, you never know what's going to happen in this show. You never know. You never rule anything else.
Ali, before we go to the news, could you hum 10-Pole Tudor for me?
And guess what? Tony says Prince Charming by Adam and the Ants, also bought from Woolies. Coming up, Tyson Fury's back, and as always, his press conference has made the headlines today. I wonder what the first single Tyson Fury bought. Is he still the biggest draw in boxing? Are we all excited for his return? I will discuss that next. If you want to have your say, 03717223344.
I came back for one reason only, and that's to make boxing great again. And I didn't say that. An AI, the cleverest AI on earth, said that, ChatGPT. So believe it.
You know, when you walk into Tottenham, what you see everywhere is to dare is to do. It's everywhere. And yet their actions are almost the antithesis of that. Right. It's a real curious in terms of understanding what are they trying to build? You know, what are they? Is it... There's obviously, they've built an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable training facilities. But when you look at the expenditure, particularly, you know, in their wages structure, they're not a big club. I saw that because when we were trying to sign players, we weren't in the market for those players.
I was stunned. I was absolutely. I thought it was disgraceful.
Did you?
I thought, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. The club have given him £7 million. He's blaming everyone but himself.
No, we got him a trophy.
Yes, but for his sacking, he's blaming everyone. But when I sat down on the day of the final, Daniel Levy comes up to me and goes, "I've been in 8 semi-finals and final." We all laughed.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's his fault.
I don't want to know that. That should be private.
No.
He's giving you honestly, he didn't blame himself. Did he ever say, "I wasn't that good"?
No. No, but
let me tell you now. If you're listening, Ange, I know you won't, but if you're listening, the reason.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark, with over 20,000 used cars online to choose from. They'll have the car for you. Very nearly 7:35. Stuart says, morning boys, my first single 1987, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship.
Yes.
He said a bit like Spurs' imminent relegation.
What were they called before Starship? They were actually called, I'm sure they were called Jefferson Starship.
Oh, Jefferson Starship. Was that the same band?
I think so.
Okay.
I might have got that wrong.
Alistair says, lads, awesome show. Embarrassed to say, and you're right to be embarrassed, Alistair, I'm sorry. Embarrassed to say, first single, Paul McCartney, The Frog Song.
Can't remember that.
Oh, yes, you can. Win or lose, sink or swim. One thing is certain, we'll never give in. Side by side, hand in hand, we'll all stand together. Yes, the master lyricist, Paul McCartney, wrote the Frog Song. And has probably never, ever lived it down. And Alistair, you'll never live it down, having bought that as your first. But thanks for owning up. Right, after coming out of retirement for a 5th time in his career, Tyson Fury's back in the ring. He faces Arslanbek Makhmudov on the 11th of April at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as ever. Fury's been taking the headlines after the press conference yesterday as he explained the reasons behind his comeback.
The biggest turning point in this comeback for me was a tragedy that happened with Anthony Joshua. And I thought, you know what, life is very, very short and very precious and very fragile. And anything could happen at any given moment. And you should never put things off until tomorrow or next year or next week, because tomorrow is not promised to nobody. I made my mind up there and then that I'm going to come back to boxing because it's something that I love and I'm passionate about and that I've always been in love with. I came back for one reason only, and that's to make boxing great again. It's become quite boring. Boxing is at its maximum potential when Tyson Fury is actively fighting. And I didn't say that. An AI, the cleverest AI on earth said that, ChatGPT. So believe that.
Right, well, those are the views, the strident views as ever of Tyson Fury. Joining us now, a man who was at that press conference yesterday. He'll be in place for talkSPORT when the fight does come round. It's a very good morning to Gareth A. Davis. Morning, Gareth.
Gareth, good morning, mate.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ali. How are you?
Yeah,
very well.
Oh, I love the fact he always makes a headline or two. Is he right? Has boxing become boring?
It hasn't, but it's certainly more entertaining with him on the dais, or certainly there yesterday. Tyson Fury is full of life, full of colour. Oh, look, he's back for a massive payday against a Russian in Arslanbek Makhmudov, who he should beat, which will lead to an even bigger payday against the guy he mentioned there, Anthony Joshua, should Anthony Joshua decide that he will come back and fight again, which I think he will. But look, Fury brings a lot of colour. He's the major entertainer in the blue ribbon division, always has been. There was a lot of hubris from him yesterday, and it remains to be seen whether Makhmudov, who's a big, dangerous fighter in the top 20 in the world, will end up being the nemesis for Anthony Joshua at Tottenham Hotspur on April the 11th when they meet. I don't think he will. I think he's made for Fury, but Fury, who's now 38, if his legs have gone, we will find out on the night.
We'll find out sharpish. He's not fought in Britain since, I think, December 2022. Gareth, what problems, if any, do you think this opponent can give Fury?
Well, it'll be down to what's happened to Fury over the last 15 months. He looked pretty good against Alexander Usyk in those two fights. Obviously, he was knocked down in the 9th round in the first one, and it was a really close, competitive fight, even though I agree with the judges that Alexander Usyk won 8 of the 12 rounds in that second fight in Riyadh in late 2024. Fury's had a year away. He hasn't gone overweight in excess. He's stayed fit. He's looked really healthy and well. Obviously, he's based out in Thailand at the moment. He's gone back there today. He just came over for the press conference. If he's not what he was, and it's 15 months on, then it will show in him. But I think Makhmudov's carefully chosen in a way, because Makhmudov comes forward, throws his punches, and I think Fury should dismantle him and stop him in 6 to 8 rounds. If he doesn't, people will have question marks. But behind the scenes, Turki Al-Sheikh, and who began this movement in the heavyweight era and is involved in the tectonic plate shifting in America with Dana White and Zuffa Boxing at the moment, looks like he's doing deals with Alexander Usyk, Anthony Joshua and Fury behind the scenes just to round off this era at the moment. And if the Joshua fight doesn't come about, Fury could always fight the winner of Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois, who fight on May the 9th for the WBO title.
Yeah, I mean, I know you say that, 15 months on, he may come back and not be the same fighter. How long can he go on for, do you think?
2 or 3 more fights, and I think that's it. As I say, I think he's in that stage where he's in the mega payday. He was wearing his Netflix tie yesterday, his Netflix sliders. bedecked in these kind of dazzling clothes as always, as he is now. His second series at home with the Furies is about to come out in April. The executives were there yesterday. He's one of the linchpins, as he was when Turki Al-Sheikh came in, for Netflix and the big streamers for boxing entertainment. We've seen it over and over again now that the big stars, the big figures are brought back. I don't think he's got long left. As I say, I think he's getting giant paydays. He loves the sport of boxing. As he said there, he's not inspired, but realising, given the tragedy of what happened to Anthony Joshua, losing his two friends in that car accident, if you are around and you do love your sport, what's the point in sitting out? I don't think he'll be around boxing when he's 40. And yesterday, of course, we had the drama of his father, John Fury, who gets very over-passionate in these scenarios, who'd spotted Carl Froch working on a platform with Lennox Lewis, broadcasting the event, and absolutely kicked off. I think we might have a clip of it, but that was outrageous as well yesterday, but nothing we haven't seen before.
What was it all about, though? I mean, what made him flip? What made him turn, if you like?
Well, we saw it. We've seen this a few times. If you recall, when his son Tommy fought KSI, we saw John kick off in Manchester. We saw the melee and the headbutt at the Usyk fight when Tyson Fury fought Alexander Usyk in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And yesterday, when he was up on a balcony, he spotted Carl Froch, who's been trolling him every now and again. He really literally did kick off, and he went on a rant, and he was annoyed for about 10 minutes, and then he joined them on the main stage, and then he said goodbye. It's part of the noise and the fury, if you like, around the Gypsy King.
Yeah, I mean, unwanted sideshow, in my opinion, but there we go. Gareth, thank you very much indeed.
Gareth, thanks, mate. Have a good one.
Cheers, always a pleasure, gents.
Thank you. Chris, as a Leeds fan, says first single was 68 Guns by The Alarm.
Yes.
He said, I bought it from
Good
Elektra,
song.
an independent record shop in Burnley, and it's still going. And listen to this.
Great song.
Christian, who's... he calls us Airsy, heading to Rotherham from Swindon, says, first single I got as a Christmas present when I was 7, it was Ernie by Benny Hill.
Yes, the fastest milkman in the West.
Mum and Dad.
He was the fastest milkman in the West.
It's the best lyrics of any song in the history of the world. Remember, he was going
2-ton Test from Teddington, and he drove the Baker's van. Ted.
2-ton Ted from Teddington, and he drove the Baker's van. He was the rival. So he drove the Baker's van. Ernie's going out with Sue. So 2-ton Ted from Teddington, he drove the baker's van. He tempted her with his treacle tarts and his tasty old male bread. And when she see the size of his hot meat pies, it very near turned her head.
She nearly something at his macaroon. What was
She
it?
nearly swooned at his macaroons and said, now, if you treat me right, you'll have hot rolls every morning.
And crumpet every night.
Crumpet every night. He knew that once she sampled his layer cake, he'd have his wicked way. And all Ernie had to offer was a pint of milk a day. There's another brilliant line earlier on in that, by the way, when he's chatted up Sue, is Ernie, and he said, she said she'd like to bathe in milk. All right, sweetheart, he said. And when he'd finished work one night, he loaded up his cart. He said, do you want it pasteurised? Because pasteurised is best. She says, Ernie, I'd be happy if it comes up to my chest. It was wonderful. Brilliant. An all-time classic. Yeah.
And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
Paul McCartney will wish he'd written that and not the Frog song, you know. Right.
Oh, dear.
Still to come on breakfast.
Oh.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
More on Tyson Fury this morning if you want to have your say on him and whether boxing misses him, needs him. 03717 223344. Some huge guests still to come this morning, include a man who's taking on the task of managing a national team and a championship side at the same time. Newly appointed Michael O'Neill will be with us, and we'll be speaking to the hat-trick hero for Frank Lampard. And Coventry last night in their championship game will be catching up with Haji Wright a little later. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Is Szoboszlai up with a Gerrard standard? I'd love to know that what Liverpool fans thought, because I think but him and Gerrard, there ain't a lot in it. I mean, Steven Gerrard at 25, 26 was amazing. He dragged the team, a bit like Szoboszlai has done this season, but Liverpool did win the Champions League in 2005. And look, an outstanding, if not the best ever Liverpool midfielder. But I wondered how close Szoboszlai was to Gerrard. I'd just love to know if there's Liverpool fans out there who would go, do you know what? Or no, he's not, you know. Because I think they're pretty close.
Never mind Liverpool fans out there who say, no, he's not. Yeah, there are some presenters here who said, no, he's not. The thing for me, Coisty, is that he would have to do it over a heck of a lot longer period to ever be compared to Steven Gerrard.
Listen, I've got to say to you, Jeff, I've written down 4 words here. Big Cass, there's a line, then I've put calm down. I've just put calm down after it. Szoboszlai probably has been the pick of the bunch of Liverpool players, perhaps this season.
He said you want it pasteurised, because pasteurised is best. She says, Ernie, I'll be happy if it comes up to me chest. That tickled old Ernie. And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
It didn't just tickle old Ernie, it tickled Coisty and Stelling as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me. We're talking sort of first singles as well, because the reason we're talking first singles, by the way, was that it would have been Gene Pitney's birthday today. And my first single was Gene Pitney, I'm Gonna Be Strong. What was yours? Did we decide
Steve Harley, Cotton and Rebel,
yeah,
come up and see me, make me smile.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Ian Parker's at the wind-up here, but his first single was Foreigner, Urgent.
Was their only hit single, wasn't it? You know. Phil says first single was Stand and Deliver by Adam and the Ants, again bought from Woolies in Jarrow It cost me £1.25p.
And you know who the Jarrah is?
Steve Crammy. Crammy. Yeah,
absolutely.
And Gary says, I'll mention this because I love this song as well. First single I bought, Joe Jackson. Is she really
Brilliant.
going out with him? It
Brilliant.
was fantastic. Headlines this Tuesday morning. Referee Chris Kavanagh has been dropped from this week's Premier League fixtures after the errors at the weekend in the Newcastle against Aston Villa game. Assistant Nick Greenhag has also been stood down. Australia's hopes of reaching the Super 8 stage of the T20 World Cup are all but over. Zimbabwe need a win against either Ireland or Sri Lanka to dump them out. And League One side Mansfield will host 14-time winners Arsenal in the FA Cup fifth round. Newcastle host Man City in a repeat of this year's Carabao Cup semi-final. Brilliant game for Daniel Farker, by the way, with Leeds against his old club Norwich. And in potentially the tie of the round, Wrexham host Chelsea. Now, the Wrexham co-owner, Ryan Reynolds, reacted to the draw on social media alongside fellow Hollywood star Hugh Jackman.
Number 7. Oh! Chelsea. Wrexham will host Chelsea. Oh! Wait. We're home with Chelsea. Ah! That's what you wanted. Ah! Yes! Oh. That is what you wanted? What the
no, it's a dream draw as far as Wrexham are concerned, and the Wrexham story just goes on and on and on.
Brilliant. I mean, it's a fantastic story, and I tell you what, having seen him live at games, he is right into it like you've no idea. I mean, this ain't no act.
For a man who, I'll be honest, started off and, you know, I think you'll forgive me for saying this, not that he'll be listening right now, didn't know a great deal about football. Yeah. Didn't know a great... Rob McElhenney, he had plenty of football knowledge. Ryan Reynolds was sort of along for the ride initially, but boy, has he got involved in it. Absolutely fantastic. Scott says, hi, Jeff and Ali. Thanks for making me and my son laugh every morning on the way to school. Scott, it's our pleasure. It's what we
love it.
Are trying to do. Now, it's exactly 4 months into the start of the World Cup, so we thought we'd bring back a bit of this.
Welcome aboard this Jet Stelling flight to the World Cup.
It has gone through, so it's organised. We can travel by plane.
Connections USA, Mexico and Canada.
Left my blinking headphones on the plane again.
No, you didn't.
I can guarantee you my last dollar that he will be on that plane.
If he didn't liven himself up in the beginning of the season, he wasn't getting on that plane.
I'm sitting on the plane, like the doors are shut, and then they say, oh no, Darren, you can get off the plane now.
Was it Elon Musk or something, whatever his name is? He's already got a flying car.
I mean, when you fly, you know, you hold more water. I never liked flying.
Please fasten your seatbelt. Ali McCoist. No snacks whilst we're taking off.
What? Oh, man alive. What's getting on here?
Mr. Brazil, please put your phone on aeroplane mode.
Yeah, I'm sick of all this mamby-pamby rubbish.
And Mr. Parlour, we do not have any Cobra bombs on board.
That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the England squad heading for the sets. Before we do, I just want to answer a question here. Said, why isn't anybody talking about Anthony Kim's 9-under final round to beat DeChambeau and Rahm in the Live Golf Aussie event? Because, guys, it was a Live Golf event. It doesn't count. Pointless. Waste of time. Waste of space. That is why we're not talking about it. Okay? Let's move on to the World Cup, edging closer. And it's interesting. We thought we'd dive into who might make the squad and who might not make the squad. Who'll be on Tuchel's plane? We'll focus this week on central midfielders and who might line up alongside Declan Rice. And I'll tell you what, I've got a question. Thomas Tuchel signing a longer contract. Do you think that could influence the squad that he takes to this World Cup? Because initially we all said, you know, it's just about this World Cup for Thomas Tuchel. He will just take players to win this World Cup. And to hell with the future, that doesn't matter. But now it's slightly different.
I see your point. My answer would be no. Because this is the big tournament. This is the biggest tournament that any nation can win and enter. And bearing that in mind, there is nothing going to alter his train of thought, which will, you know, in his mind, which will stop giving England their best opportunity. He will not. I know what you're saying. He's signed a contract beyond the World Cup.
Yeah.
But no.
Okay.
He is looking, in my opinion, you can't look any further in the World Cup. No chance. He'll pick a squad that he believes give England the best opportunity to win that World Cup.
So we know Declan Rice is going, obviously, holding midfielder. So he's nailed on. For me too, in that position, and people might not like it. Jordan Henderson is nailed on because Tuchel clearly wants him. Tuchel's very loyal. He's put Henderson in his squads, and I think he will definitely take him, not necessarily even to play, but for his experience. And by the way, he's had a heck of a good season at Brentford on the pitch as well.
Of course he has. Has Kobe Mainoo come into the running? Well, Elliot Anderson still ahead of him, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so do I.
I mean, for me, Elliot Anderson, not as good this season as last season, but that would apply to every Forest player.
I'd agree with that. Agree with that.
He's had a lot of games as well, but I think he's a certainty to go. There are 26...
Is Mainoo getting a mention at all?
Yeah, well, he will get a mention, but I think the choice, I think it's a straight choice. I think it's Adam Wharton or Kobbie Mainoo. And at the moment, Wharton's been in recent squads, and Mainoo hasn't because he's been out of favour at Manchester United. So for me, Wharton is in pole position. But that might change.
Yeah.
Because I think if Mainoo is in the squads for the games in March, that's his chance. That's his chance to stake his place. And
correct. You'd have to say
you won't get another chance if you're not, if you're not in those squads and doing well.
I think you
won't
be
going.
I think you make a good point. I think Kobbie Mainoo's only chance of going would to be make this next squad. Obviously, outside an injury to somebody.
Yeah,
but he has come back in and he's made a difference at United.
Yeah, but he needs to keep on looking. And we're talking about this in February. He needs to keep on doing it. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel. Well, he hasn't played for England since autumn 2024, so it's been a pretty long absence, but he's still very young. Thomas Tuchel watched him when Manchester United drew at West Ham. It wasn't his worst game, but it wasn't his best either.
Correct. Absolutely. His games prior to that, I think, were far better. But I made the point, I don't know whether you agree or not, I think that particular game, Manchester United don't win that game 6 weeks prior to it, 4 or 5 weeks prior to it.
Yeah.
They just got a little bit about them. I thought, by the way, if I spoke to you about that finish was out of this world.
Yeah.
Manchester United's equaliser.
That was sensational.
I'm telling you right now, there's only one. The defender thinks he's got that blocked, and Šeško, the only way he can do it is kind of flick it round the corner into the top corner. It was a brilliant goal. Bring it back to Kobbie Mainoo. I'm with you. I don't think he had a poor game, but I don't think he was as good as he'd been some of the games prior to that. He'll come into his thoughts, but I'm with you in the respect that I'm not sure he's done enough to get ahead of Wharton at this moment in time.
Not at this moment. Yeah, I wonder as well if in any way, shape or form it'll come into Thomas Tuchel's mind that Adam Wharton doesn't score goals. Now, it's not their principal role. We know that. Hasn't scored in 70-odd games for Palace. Kobbie Mainoo does weigh in with the occasional goal for Manchester United. Look, I think he's going to be in the squads in March, Mainoo, and then it's in his hands or his feet, if you prefer, up to him, really. Performs well, he could be on that plane to America. If he doesn't, well, he can book a place in Ibiza for the summer.
He likes Elliot Anderson.
Anderson's certain.
Yeah, and so he should, because he's done, I think, terrifically well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Rice, Henderson, Anderson, nailed on. And I know people won't necessarily agree with Henderson, but I think he's nailed on. And I think Wharton will just edge out Kobbie Mainoo.
That's the one thing that we're speaking about, right? That Thomas Tuchel will not care about, and nor should he. That will probably be the one, if he takes Jordan Henderson, that might be the one in the squad that kind of splits opinion, right? But that's the kind of decision that won't bother him one bit, and he'll be more than happy to make it Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah. We shall see. There's still some time to go. Isn't there? First singles, Robin Harrow says, Reflection of My Life by the Marmalade, an absolute belter. And it was indeed. And Tracy in Dunfermline's got a confession to make. First single she bought was Atmosphere by Russ Abbott, bought in John Menzies in Pitlochry.
John Menzies in Pitlochry. Beautiful place, Pitlochry.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. Look, coming up, we'll celebrate the incredible story of Macclesfield. The dream ended last night, but how proud can they be? We'll discuss that next with a man who's really responsible for their very existence. Robbie Savage is with us next.
But Forest fans, in comes Vitor Pereira. Is he the right choice? And Thomas Frank has gone. In comes Igor Tudor. So Frank for Tudor, Deitch for Pereira. Do those pivots give you more or less confidence of Premier League survival? Basically, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because you do not want to drop down to the Championship. 03717 2233 44. Danny, big Forest fan. Good morning, Danny. What about it? Vitor Pereira. And where are you, Danny, with your owner, Evangelos Marinakis? What is he about?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for letting me on.
Morning.
Yeah, I think the thing with Marinakis is that if he makes a mistake, he corrects it. I mean, we could talk about a lot of clubs in the past, Man United being one, Tottenham in some certain...
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. Sport coming honestly. I promise I'll stop. Last couple of singles for you. Hi guys, first record I ever bought for my girlfriend at the time was Nice One Cyril by the Cockney Chorus. Sadly, the romance faded, but my love for Spurs didn't. And Andrew says, my first single was Donald, Where's Your Trousers by Andy Stewart.
Yeah,
Girl bought it for me. Let's just say our relationship didn't last long. And finally, Rob says, morning guys, my first single was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. He's a Gunners fan. What fantastic, fantastic
Yeah, brilliant.
song. Oh, thanks for all your suggestions this morning. Absolutely brilliant. Kept us going over the first couple of hours. Look, lots to come on the show over the next couple of hours, but we're going to concentrate on the FA Cup for a moment or two with Macclesfield's fairy tale run finally coming to an end last night.
Welcome to Moss Rose, where the air is thick with the electricity of the impossible. Oh, that's a poor ball infield. It comes towards Duffy, who hits it over the top of the crossbar. Macclesfield coming forward. Dawson looking to shoot. Right footed, down low to his right. He says it took a deflection. It missed the goal by an inch. It's a great chance for Macclesfield. 117 places between them, but I tell you what, it doesn't look like it so far tonight. Hickey only underlap, gets to the byline. No crossing to the near post, it's headed into his own net by Heathcote. That is a lesson he didn't want to learn.
And the big centre-half, Sam Heathcote, has played well. He's done everything right. Was desperate to kind of get something on it and has flown it past his own goalkeeper, unfortunately.
Well, that's the end of the game, and it's the end of the journey. The fairy tale ends here for Macclesfield FC, but what a chapter they have written. It's West Ham Brentford in the fifth round of the FA Cup after it finished Macclesfield 0, Brentford 1.
Macclesfield go out, but brilliant effort once again. They stood toe-to-toe with a top-flight side, having already put Crystal Palace out, and just one cruel moment taking that dream away with an own goal, eventually putting them out. Marvellous run, though, from the National League North side. He can be very proud. Let's get more on this with the Forest Green Rovers manager, but his heart initially was with Macclesfield. It's a very good morning to Robbie Savage. Morning, Robbie.
Morning, Rob. How you doing, mate?
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. How are you both?
Excellent, thanks, pal. Excellent, mate.
Look, I mean, you were instrumental in helping raise this club from the ashes. So how proud are you of what they've achieved in this cup run?
Extremely proud, Jeff and Ali. You know, it was 4 years of incredible hard work, myself and Rob and everybody behind the scenes, some great people, as I'm sure Ali met a lot last night. You know, Bob Trafford, Lindsay Brown, Rachel. There's so many people I could mention who were instrumental in that club getting where they've got to. And obviously Rob and now the new directors in Amar and Dan and everybody involved. So it was a team effort, not just myself or Rob. It was everybody involved. And the biggest compliment I can give is to the fans. The fans are incredible. They lost the club. So for them to be beating Crystal Palace and going toe-to-toe with Brentford last night is a credit to the whole community, and I'm absolutely delighted for them.
Robbie, you mentioned that the whole community there. I mean, I knew roughly what I was going to expect last night. We did the game, and I really enjoyed it. But I need to tell you, mate, and it won't come as a surprise to you, before the game, during the game, after the game, we did the draw in the lounge. Just the whole, it was a pleasure to be around the place. The whole atmosphere, the supporters, everything about it was brilliant. And speaking to Rob, we spoke to Rob in the morning, and I spoke to him last night. I mean, he got to pinch himself the way things are going. And you know something? Of course they got knocked out last night, but they did themselves justice again.
Yeah, they did. And the players, I think there was, in the last round, recruitment's key, Ali, as you know, as a manager. And in the last round, there was 9 of the players I think we brought into the football club. And last night, the team started 8. Yeah. So the recruitment's been key. And I'm delighted for the players and John, the manager. I think they've moved the club on since I've left. Credit to them. You know, this has to be about the players and the staff. So again, the whole atmosphere is incredible. They're in a great position in the league, in the playoff positions with games in hand. And, you know, I've left now, Ali, and I want all the plaudits and all the credit to be given to John and the players. Sam Heathcote done exceptionally well. Paul Dawson. You know, I made Paul Dawson captain last season, and people were saying, you know, why are you making Dawes captain? Because I seen his leadership qualities. I seen the way he galvanised the dressing room. And as a manager, Ali, you have to make big decisions and you have to go with what you believe in. And, you know, I did that with Dawson. He's not looked back. And I'm delighted for each and every one of them. You know, Brandon Lee, who was out injured, Danny Elliott, who was out injured. There's some extremely amazing people at that football club. And, you know, regardless of what people think, I want that football club to be the best they can be. And hopefully they can get promoted. And John's got a great career ahead of him. You know, he was a key part of my team. He could still play. I think he was on the bench in the fourth qualifying round, and they've missed him on the pitch, but he's certainly learning off it, and he's doing a great job.
I mean, obviously, with the the finances that this run has brought in, and the interest as well from people who want to put money into the club. Seemingly, I remember, Robbie, as you do. I remember the days when the original Macclesfield were a football league club for many a season. It's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility that they could get back there, is it?
No, it's not. But as you know, Jeff, the National League system, one up in the National League North and South and one up in our league, obviously one through the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And, you know, we're finding this season, you know, myself at Forest Green, we're 6, rebuilt a whole squad, and we've got an amazing owner in Dale, and our finances are capable of getting up. So the gap between, I would say, Jeff, the top 7 or 8 in this league compared to, you know, others in the league is monumental. You know, and if Macclesfield do go up, I think now you have to go full time. You know, so again, if you've got a budget of hypothetically $1 million in this league, you know, you probably need to double that if you've got any chance of getting up, Jeff. You know that. You know, there's some huge clubs. Look at your club, Hartlepool, Scunthorpe, Carlisle, York, Rochdale. You know, Southend. You know, historic football clubs. You know what we're doing right now, Jeff, is we're overachieving. You know, because without Dale, you know, I don't know where this football club would be. So I'd hope Macclesfield can get back into the Football League. That's the dream. That's the ambition. That when myself and Rob, you know, took over the club, and they're on a great journey to that with a fantastic manager in John.
Rob, tell me, just a quick one. Solent the weekend, obviously Carlisle. I think you've got Boreham Wood coming up. I mean, it's obviously, I can't lie to you, it's a league I now look at because one of the Coral boys, John Hill's a Rochdale fan, and all the Jeff's connections, Hartlepool, yourself and things like that. A big game tonight, Rochdale hosting Scunthorpe. I mean, it looks as though, and you can shoot me down, the top 2, York and Rochdale, are just creating a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, Ali, you're right. I think that, the 2 best teams in the league, you know, we've had a tough week. I thought management was easy up until 6 weeks ago, you know, and I'm finding out now. But do you know what, Ali and Jeff, I'm loving it. I'm passionate. We've had a remit from Dale to 2 relegations, and we didn't go up last year with an experienced squad. So the remit was create a young, dynamic side like at Macclesfield when we had 109 points, continue that journey here. And I'm very fortunate that there's such an alignment with myself, Dale, Asif, the vice chairman, and Mark Bowen, the sporting director, to create a team that's going to be, you know, hopefully competitive this year, but certainly next year and the year after. And already we've brought the age of the team down from 28 to 23. Reduced the wage budget by about 33%. And people have to understand, Ali, listen, you've managed Rangers, you know, the expectation, but you need time. And if you've got a remit from a brilliant person, Dale, that will be followed through. And because the way we started, the expectation has risen. And our fans now and our players believe we can go to Rochdale and York and Carlisle and win. And that's great expectation, but right now it's a little bit of a sticky patch. But I'm learning about myself, the pressures and the anxiety and the stress. You don't switch off, Ali, do you?
No, mate.
You're looking for solutions. And what you do as a manager is you firefight, you problem solve, and you try and manage players the best you can. And tactics are great, but that's the last thing in your mind through the week. And when you come to the weekend, you've got to find solutions to how to win a game of football. And listen, Carlisle first half were very good. we've got to eradicate the individual errors. But I'm so proud of my players.
I'm sure you should be, Rob. I'm going to tell you.
I'm so proud. And we're doing great.
One of the highlights of my season, was the Luton game. The referee gave a slightly controversial decision, and you came out the dugout, turned around and looked up to me in the commentary position, wanting for clarification how much of a mistake he made. I'll never forget you. You looked up at me with those big puppy dog eyes as if I could do something about it.
Well, I know the nation love you, and as a co-commentary, I don't know what's worse. You get more stick from being a co-commentator or as a manager. Both are horrific.
Great to see you,
Robbie.
mate.
Always good to talk to you, mate.
Thank
Keep
you,
it going,
guys.
Paul.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys.
I'm so you did, Jeff. It was brilliant. There was a decision went against him, and with some justification, and he ran out onto the middle of the park and turned around and looked at me as if there was something I could have done about it.
They played pretty well that game, actually.
They did very well.
They weren't flattered by the score. By the way, all Macclesfield fans that turned up last night, Kings Lynn at home at the weekend. Make sure you go to that one as well. Look, coming up, we turn our attention to the Champions League and whether Jose Mourinho can pull off another victory against Real Madrid. That's next. So what can Spurs fans expect? Let's find out from someone who played under the man at Udinese. Very good morning to Al Ahly and Nigeria defender William Troost-Ekong. Morning, William.
Good morning, William. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you for coming on, mate.
Great to see you, mate.
What can Spurs fans expect from Igor then?
Well, we heard a little bit about it in the clip. We had him 2 times at Udinese. He's a manager that likes to play 3-5-2 or a variation of it, from what my experience was. Of course, attacking football. He hired back line, tries to press high, can be quite direct, and he's definitely a personality. So if they need someone to shake up the place and get everyone going, then he's definitely the right person for it. So, like mentioned before, the North London derby probably the perfect game to start, and he's definitely also someone who's not intimidated by anything like that. So. A big personality, and he's going to get everyone trying to run through a brick wall. So I think that's probably been my experience with him.
Ask you, William, you mentioned he's a big personality, and you would suggest that he's going to have to be to take this job, because when you look at it, what's he going to have to do differently?
How do you like your eggs in the morning?
I like mine with a kiss.
Boiled or fried?
I'm satisfied as long as I get my kiss.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Why are we playing this? If you're waking up, possibly making your breakfast, it's Pancake Day today. Now, the Daily Star has an article detailing how some of our favourite celebrities have their pancakes. I mean, seriously. Gordon Ramsay enjoys his with a caramelised banana on top. Gordon, remember where you came from, mate. Caramelised banana on top.
That man's for Johnston, right? Which is the next kind of, I nearly called it a village there.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that 99% of Johnston, and I'm going back there by the way, don't really have caramelised.
Do you think anybody there has ever had caramelised banana on a pancake, apart from Gordon Ramsay?
No. And I would suggest that Gordon never had it when he lived in Johnston.
Yeah.
Johnston has a lot of qualities with a lot of fine people, but eating
caramelised banana
isn't
goodness sake. Tom Kerridge prefers his with sweet corn on top. Sweet corn?
No way.
It's so savoury. We're looking at savoury pancakes. They're more like a crepe, isn't it?
What would you?
Well, we used to have, when, many years ago, golden syrup. It was always Lyle's golden syrup.
Yeah. I would probably have fruit.
That's a bit of a healthy option, isn't it? In comparison to golden syrup. Fruit is certainly a
just something
option.
to wash down my full Scottish.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there are going to be some odd let us know.
Yes.
What you're having on your pancakes, what you love having on your pancakes best. Then we'd love to know. Just one last single, and there's a reason for mentioning this, by the way. Great show, Jeff and Ali, says Martin and Stockport. First single, B.A. Robertson, Bang Bang. But he let himself down in 2008 by the fact that a certain Ally McCoist joined him on We Have a Dream. The Scotland World Cup team. What was that World Cup song, was it?
We have a dream. What was his name as well? John.
I thought it was ABBA.
John Gordon Sinclair. There you are.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
we were normally back home before the song charted.
You're not telling me the song's charted. I don't believe that for a second. Not a second.
Okay, I'll go back carried away there. Sorry.
Right, let's get the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, good morning to you.
Morning, Steve-O.
Gentlemen, a very, very good morning. Great show this morning. I think it's fair to say when it comes to some of these first singles, it's been the good, the bad and the ugly, isn't it? I'm not sure where we put Benny Hill, fastest milkman in the West, but you just said to me, I'll be hearing that at 7:45 on Britain's biggest talking sports station.
It's been bizarre.
I told you to tell DJ Ed to take the day off.
Let me tell you, Steve-O, it has been bizarre at best, mate. It really has. Listen, some great football last night, mate. I'm going to start, if I may, with the championship, pal, because Coventry, a much-needed win against a high-flying Borough, obviously.
Gone back top, great win. But we can't split them. 13-8 joint favourites Coventry, 13-8 Middlesbrough. This is to win the championship, obviously. It's then 9-4 Ipswich. Now, you look at that first one and think, well, they're some way off it, but they've got these 2 games in hand. One of those against Portsmouth. That's been cancelled a couple of times. If they win those, they would go within a couple of points of the leaders. So it is congested at the top there. But, it's advantage Coventry at the moment, but an absolute thriller. They are the 3 teams who are odds on to be promoted. Millwall right in the mix, obviously, as well. We shouldn't forget them. And then there's the likes of Wrexham, Birmingham sort of sniffing around the playoffs. But, great win for Frank Lampard last night, but joint favourites in that one. The FA Cup draw, it seemed to go Arsenal's way, didn't it? I think it's fair to say they're 11-4 favourites now to win it. Manchester City and Newcastle, whoever wins that will shorten, obviously. 7-2 City, 10-1 Newcastle at the moment. 9-2 Liverpool, 6-1 Chelsea. And what a great draw, obviously, for Wrexham, facing Chelsea in the next round there. So Arsenal, I know, sort of slight blip at the weekend, obviously, in the league, but in a good position in the FA Cup for sure.
Steve, I can't let you just gloss over the championship like that because you're a lot Pompey. They've got a big game, haven't they, tonight? Is it Charlton
It's huge, Jeff.
I read that Portsmouth have 14 players out injured now.
It's brutal, and every time you say, "Oh, you're making excuses." It's been a brutal season. Things look slightly better sort of after Christmas in terms of getting the players back, but it's time. Look, the table tells you, Jeff, we are banging this. We got games in hand, but given our injury problems, the fixtures are going to pile up. That's not really a good thing. In terms of tonight, we have to get something from this. 2-1 to win it, 6-4 Charlton. The draw just a shade over 2-1, but yeah, it's a huge game. But honestly, the way it's going, Ali, if you've got your boots, you've got every chance of getting a game for us. Do you fancy that?
I do, mate. I do, but it seems only fitting. I wouldn't do that to the Portsmouth public, to be quite honest with you. It seems only fitting, Steve-O, and what has been a crazy morning and a crazy show. We'll go from Portsmouth to the Champions League, mate.
That's a low blow, McCoist.
But there are some big games in the Champions League.
I mean, they really are. You look at this, and how have Juventus got into this? They are 11-10 to win. Galatasaray, they've had a good season in this. Beat Liverpool 9-4. PSG, the holders. I mean, crazy, but 1-2. They got a French derby. Obviously, Monaco 9-2 shots there. Borussia Dortmund 11-10 to beat Atalanta. And then again, you talk about the biggest of all, isn't it? Real Madrid against Jose Mourinho's Benfica. Jose putting himself in the frame for the Real Madrid job, maybe. 5-2 Benfica, even money Real Madrid, 11-4 in that one. So yeah, I think we're all agreed now, aren't we? This new Champions League format. It's not even new anymore, but it's a hit, isn't it? When it serves up like
no, it is not. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage, Steve-O. This is the first round. The first round there is any real jeopardy in it. And even then, it's over two legs. So it's sort of diluted jeopardy. But in the early rounds, it's absolute garbage. Bores the pants off me.
Go there, Steve-O. Please don't go there, Steve-O. Steve-O, let's gloss over it.
What about Constitution Hill?
What about Constitution Hill? I just had a look.
Changing the subject very swiftly.
It looks as though Constitution Hill's running in the Grand National on Friday night. How many horses have we got?
In my defence, I've just come back from holiday. I had a very late night and an early start. So I'd forgotten Jeff wasn't the biggest. Anyway, yeah, look, Constitution Hill. Hopefully we're going to see him at Southall, bizarrely, in a flat race on Friday night, of course. If he gets into the race,
I know.
He's been oversubscribed. He's 3-1 for the Champion Hurdle, only 3-1, despite not completing in his 3 of his last 4 starts. We're non-run and no bet now on all Cheltenham races, actually, which is great. So you can punt, and if your horse doesn't line up, you get your money back. I'm off, not for pancakes today. Well, they might serve up pancakes, but I'm off to St George's Hall in Liverpool for the Grand National Weights Lunch, which is always a really great celebration, not just of the race, but of the city of Liverpool. King Kenny's been a regular there in the past, whether we'll see him. But Iroko, trained in Cheshire, owned by JP McManus, is the current 5-1 favourite. Loads of Willie Mullins runners, as you'd expect in the race.
Once again, Steve-O, on a mad morning, the irony of you going to a weights lunch isn't lost on me.
Do you really want to go down that road?
Oh, no, I don't, mate. I don't, be honest with you. But it was too good an opportunity, my old son.
Steve-O, love it. Thanks very much indeed.
Take care, pal.
Cheers, fellas.
And that was the latest odds with Coral, 18+ gambleaware.org. Quick text from Dan. Morning, Jeff and I watched Sav as a player at Leicester. Wondered after his achievements at Macclesfield and Forest Green whether he may have been approached for the Leicester City job. Latest reports suggest Gary Rowett as an interim. Wouldn't be the daftest idea, would it, Dan? Thank you very much indeed for that. Coming up, we'll find out how Michael O'Neill is going to keep Blackburn up and get Northern Ireland to the World Cup at the same time. That's next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+ gambleaware.org.
headlines this morning. Yusuf Chamiti struck a hat-trick as Rangers pulled closer to Scottish Premier League leaders Hearts with a 4-2 win at Ibrox. He'd scored 4 in 28 for Rangers before yesterday's hat-trick. Arsenal have endured a fresh injury blow in the shape of defender Riccardo Calafiori, forced to pull out of the starting 11 minutes before their win over Wigan. Wolves and Arsenal. Wolves coming up this week for the Gunners. Manager Mikel Arteta admitted he is worried about the situation.
Yes, and especially because we are going through. Before it was the strikers, then it was the defenders, now it's the midfielders. But we are still coping with that. But yeah, we need some players back and fit, and to give us as well not only numbers, but different options in relation to the opponents that we have. So the quicker they are, the better.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got. You know, I know they've had some injuries, but the squad is humongous.
No, listen, I think they're North London rivals. If there's any sympathy, and I doubt there will be from opposition football fans, but if there's any sympathy for a team with injuries, I would suggest Tottenham might just be top of the list.
Yes.
If there's any getting thrown about.
Yeah, completely agree. He's not going to be pushed to name a starting 11 and a squad of internationals on the bench either, is he?
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something, because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. With over 20,000 used cars online to choose from, they'll have a car for you. It's Talk Pancakes at the moment. Josh says, morning guys, I'd like to shout out for me and my little lad. We have fresh banana, toffee sauce, and vanilla ice cream on our pancakes.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, that sounds.
What did he say? Toffee
good.
Sauce.
Yeah. Joe in Hereford says, don't forget the Moose's pancake topping. Every year we eagerly anticipate Moose's social media post of him enjoying his topping of tuna on his pancakes. Safe to say, it divides opinion. Yeah, 99%.
That's
1% would go for that. That's how it'll divide opinion.
Sackable offence.
Andy in Chelmsford, I have steak and runny eggs on my pancakes. They're basically flat Yorkshire puddings anyway. Andy, I'm not sure about that. And here is the one of the the last word just for now on this. Jeff is correct. The only answer is golden syrup on pancakes. And to really get the benefit, you need to have about 6 of them, and they need to be made by your mum. And that's from Tim Vine. And Tim, you are spot on, mate. Absolutely. He says, by the way,
does Tim's need to? Have I got that wrong? Tim's saying his need to be made by your mum.
No. he'd have a long.
Tim, you need to clarify.
My mum passed away a lot of years ago, so you'd be sitting waiting for a long time.
You need to clarify that situation, Tim. Tim Fine joins pancakes by Jeff Stelling's mum. It's got a nice ring to it.
Tim, by the way, says his first single was Daddy Cool by Dart.
Daddy Cool.
Right, it's been a difficult season for Blackburn Rovers so far, down in 19th at the moment, just outside the relegation places in the Championship. Villa and Ishmael parted company with Blackburn earlier this month, so they turned to the Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill, who returns to starts at Ewood Park, sort of juggling 2 roles, if you like, because of course he's the Northern Ireland manager. As well, brought in some good people alongside him, Stephen Davis
brilliant,
and Phil Jones. Let's get more on this by saying good morning to the man himself, the Blackburn Rovers manager, Michael O'Neill. Morning, Michael.
Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
Hey, Michael. Well, what a start, first of all. You've gone to QPR and you've won the game. But what caught my eye there was, I think you flew in on Friday, sort of Friday lunchtime, things like that. We thought there was going to be an interim manager in charge, and then lo and behold, spot you in the dugout, which I loved. A breath of fresh air, somebody who wants to get on with it straight away.
Yeah, I think I was at the Nations League draw on Wednesday and Thursday in Brussels. So I flew in Friday morning to Manchester and then got to the training ground so just after 11 and managed to get on the grass with the players as well. Damien Johnson had prepared the team all week and had done an extremely good job. So I wasn't sure really whether to go in the dugout or not, but having had conversations and sort of had got around the players and had conversations with the staff, Damien felt it would be good for me to be in the dugout. So that was the decision that we took. And thankfully, we got a result, which obviously makes it look like it paid off. It was a good start for us. So the team played very well and, hopefully gives us a little chance now to get a little run together.
Well, massive game hang up Friday. I think it is, Michael. You get a kind of derby against Preston. How did the opportunity come about? You don't mind me asking.
Well, look, obviously Blackburn were, had made the change in management, and I think they inquired into my situation on a the potential of a longer term basis. I had indicated that wasn't an option, given obviously the World Cup playoff game in March.
Yeah.
And then we explored the current situation where obviously, I'll take the team for the last 15 games, so 14 remaining now. And I'll obviously take the Northern Ireland versus Italy in the playoff game and the subsequent game if hopefully we can get through that game in Bergamo. So it's not, I don't think, I know it might sound a little bit unusual to some people, but I think that realistically, it is something that is doable. I don't think it's, if it wasn't, I wouldn't have tried to do it, because I think that obviously neither party would benefit from that. But I think that a lot of our preparation, or 90% of our preparation for the Italy game is already done. And as you know, Ali, like international football starts when the players turn up on a Sunday. Yeah. And as an international manager, you're hoping and praying that your squad turns up fit and healthy and ready to play. So there's not a huge amount I can do between now and then that I haven't already done. And so I genuinely believe that being in the dugout is a positive thing for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it used to be much more common than it is now.
Absolutely,
to do the 2 jobs at the same time. So look, it was a brilliant start. What particularly encouraged you about that performance, Michael?
Well, I think the attitude of the players. They've had a difficult time, and we went ahead in the game. and then we're pegged back, and then to go and, you know, ahead again and win the game. And I thought we saw the game out quite comfortably. QPR is always a tough game down there. The ball comes in your box a lot, and I thought we defended our box extremely well. And you know, we had a lot of threat in the counter attack. We scored 2 very good goals off, you know, transition, which was excellent. And you know, I think we've got some very, very good players in here. They've had a difficult season, no doubt. The club have had some, you know, injuries to key players as well, which is always difficult to carry as well. So, you know, we have to do everything now. And I saw, you know, a lot of positive things in the game on Saturday that give me a lot of hope that the club can, you know, move away from the position we're in the league table at this minute in time.
Well, if you need any encouragement, not that you do, Mike, I'm looking at Norwich, for example, Philippe Clement. What a job, what a turnaround he's done there. And we love that. We absolutely love the division. We've seen some great games, none more so last night. Coventry, Middlesbrough, the other game the other week, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough was fantastic. But you look down, you tell you how tight that league is. You look at the teams that are down there, obviously yourselves, West Bromwich Albion, Leicester City. You know, you'd be very, very hopeful you can string maybe a kind of run like Norwich are put together.
Yeah, very much so. You know, Philippe Clement has done, as you rightly say, has done a fantastic job. And it is, you know, it is a league that if you can get that little bit of momentum, string 3 or 4 results together, the league table can look very different. Even our own result on Saturday, you know, took us from in the bottom 3 to where we are now, I think 19th. So it is not an easy thing to do. I think, you know, consistency of team selection is a big thing. Obviously, the regularity of the games puts stress on the squad as well. You know, we'll obviously play Friday. We'll have another game Tuesday, both home games, which I think is good. And then we obviously have a away game at Derby. But, you know, if we can take care of the game on Friday, which is extremely tough, Preston have, you know, a different agenda. They're just sitting outside the playoff spots. But, you know, it's a league that I've watched an awful lot. A lot of the players in my international squad play in the Championship. Yeah. So I am familiar with a lot of the teams, particularly Preston, to be honest, because we have 3 lads there. So there's no real surprises for me in terms of the opposition. But you're right. If we can just manage to, you know, string, you know, a result on the back of what we had last week, it'll hopefully get us going in the right direction.
Did you miss the day-to-day involvement of club management, Michael?
Yeah, look, there's times you miss it, and you know, there's times I'm at games and I look down at the technical area and I think, thank God I'm not in there for, you know, 46 games a season. But it is there's moments when you do. I think, and any international manager will tell you this, that the gap between November and March is very long. You know, when you have 3 games early in the season, September, October, November, you're very focused because the games come around very quickly, and you're rolling out one international break and quickly into another. But then you have a 4-month window before March comes along. And I've always found that period difficult, to be honest, because, you know, you can really only do so much. You can only watch your players. You're preparing for games that sometimes they may be friendly games, sometimes they may be a Nations League game. In this case, obviously, it's a World Cup qualifying game. But as I say, 4 months is more than enough to prepare for, obviously, the game in Bergamo. And as I talked about, you know, we've already done, you know, if not all the preparation, you know, virtually all of it.
Well, you're going to be flat out between now and the summer, and hopefully through the summer as well, Michael. So absolutely. Thanks very much for joining us, mate.
Say hello to Dave and the boys, mate. All the best.
I will do. Cheers, Ali.
Cheers,
Thanks.
mate.
Pancakes, James says, lemon and sugar, dollop of vanilla ice cream in the middle, roll it up like a burrito, and then Lyle's golden syrup over the top. Heavy on the sweetness. Simon says Steve-O is pronounced Southwell. You know what, Simon? I think that depends whether you live in Southwell or around or elsewhere. Because I think the locals call it Southwell, but right? Everywhere else, Southwell. You know, but
is it a bit like what's the one? A bit like Shrewsbury and Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Stu in Chester says, hang on, Jeff, you don't like the current Champions League format for boring games. Do you forget how dull the old group stages were with numerous dead rubbers? No, I don't. At least you get big ties early on now. Yeah, but the thing, Stu, is, it doesn't matter if Liverpool beat Real Madrid. You know, umpteen games still to go. It doesn't matter, because neither of them are going out. You know, that's the problem. Too many games where there is no jeopardy. And just finally on this.
See what you've done, Steve-O?
Yeah, I know. I had a text from Phil Alexander, who's CEO of the National League. He said, on the train heading to Birmingham, listening to the show, hearing you read out the lyrics for Benny Hill's Ernie made me laugh out loud. Strange looks from all the people around me.
Brilliant.
Just remind you can hear live and exclusive commentary talkSPORT 2 this Friday. Michael O'Neill's first first official game in charge of Blackburn. I mean,
they've done well. Paul and Stuart have done well at Preston.
Yeah, absolutely. They host rivals Preston in the Championship. Kick-off at 8 o'clock. Steve Davis's kids used to go to the same school as my kids, by the way, when he was down at Southampton.
Oh.
What a lovely, lovely lad he is.
Oh, well, listen, I could be here at the end of the show talking about Steve Davis and what a good lad he is.
Ah, brilliant.
And a great player, incidentally.
Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Yeah, Haji Wright, hat-trick last night, of course. He'll be joining the show. Coventry back on top of the table after their win over Middlesbrough. He's with us at just after 9 o'clock. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
I don't think they're close to the teams of the past, by the way. They're not anywhere near the teams of the past.
They're miles off. But what he's doing is doing what he's required to get this group of players to the level that he needs them at, right? And that's Martin's style of management, encouragement, positive reinforcement, positive projection of mental imagery. I wanted to ask you about the chaos that we are talking about in Scottish football and the conventional wisdom thrown out the door. You've got Brendan Rodgers going out the door causing mayhem, Dermot Desmond filling him in. You've got Rangers bringing a manager in that falls apart and the descent there. You've got Hearts in the mix. Is all this good? Because it's drawn my attention to Scottish football. It's drawn lots of people. Is this good for the product?
Yes, I think so. If you look at yesterday, Simon, there was a big hole in the schedule at Sky Sports because they don't have the FA Cup.
Yep.
And those two games went on, and I thought they were. You're right about the quality of the Kilmarnock Celtic game. It was a different kind of game from Rangers Hearts.
Yeah.
But you've got 11 goals. There's no VAR controversy. End-to-end games. I think it was great. I think Hearts coming into the midst of the chaos at Rangers and Celtic, with Tony Bloom giving them stability and a real leg up, has been great for the game. I think Motherwell in fourth place, taking points off all of them, has been terrific for the game. Anything that stops us being a 1 or 2 horse race has got to be a good thing.
Yeah, good. I agree as well.
So Bill, you...
morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Pancake Day. Hope you've enjoyed them if you've already had them, or you will enjoy them as the day goes on. Potsy and Cramlington. Very naughty, mate. Very naughty. Jeff, a bit of gravy on your pancake? No thanks, Potsy, but thanks for the offer. Michael in Sunderland says, morning, gents. Pancakes with bacon and maple syrup for me, which sounds very nice indeed.
Yeah.
I'd have pancakes most ways, in fairness, just not gravy. And mousse, not tuna. That is a real no-no. That is a real no-no.
Sackable offence.
It really is, yeah.
Dear me.
What do we know this Tuesday morning? Macclesfield's fairy tale run is over. An own goal settled their fourth round tie against Brentford. Brentford go to West Ham in the fifth round. I'll tell you what, nobody will want to play Brentford in this cup competition. 7 days after losing their long-held lead at the top of the championship to Middlesbrough, Haji Wright's hat-trick sent Coventry City back to the top of the pile. And Tyson Fury is making another return to boxing. He's come out of retirement for a fifth time. Speaking at the press conference yesterday, he explained why his return will be good for the sport.
The biggest turning point in this comeback for me was a tragedy that happened with Anthony Joshua. And I thought, you know what, life is very, very short and very precious and very fragile. And anything could happen at any given moment. And you should never put things off until tomorrow or next year or next week. Because tomorrow is not promised to nobody. I made my mind up there and then that I'm going to come back to boxing because it's something that I love and I'm passionate about and that I've always been in love with. I came back for one reason only, and that's to make boxing great again. It's become quite boring. Boxing is at its maximum potential when Tyson Fury's actively fighting. And I didn't say that. An AI, the cleverest AI on earth said that, ChatGPT. So believe it.
Yeah, Tyson Fury. Look, he's 100% of the time. He is entertaining. He is.
Of course he is.
He's a showman.
Of course he is.
Massive showman.
Of course he is.
Pleased to say joining us now, another of the big characters of the boxing world, somebody who's experienced the punching power of Tyson firsthand from being his sparring partner, a man who knows exactly what it means to be a heavyweight champion. Good morning to Johnny Fisher. Morning, Johnny.
Morning, Johnny.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, look, it's a pleasure, mate. Thanks for joining us. Was there ever any doubt in your mind that we'd see Tyson in the ring again?
Listen, he's achieved so much, fighting Deontay Wilder, beating him, Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, he's given us great fights with Usyk, completely up to him, but he is a massive character, a massive personality, and he galvanises them people who aren't traditional boxing fans. So it's great to have him back, and I was pretty, in the back of my mind, I did think he'll come back because he's got a lot more to give.
Johnny, what do you think in the grand scheme of things with Gareth on earlier on? And he reckoned, obviously, you can never say 100%, but he thinks it'd be, if not a comfortable victory, he can't see anything other than that against Makhmudov.
I mean, it's the age-old story, isn't it? You can't write someone off like Makhmudov. He's had 18 first-round knockouts. He's 6'8" himself. He's a big old unit. He's going to come and bring the heat, and this is his chance. I mean, Fury can't take him lightly at all because he's going to be coming thinking this is his chance to go to another level in boxing. In boxing knowness, in boxing media, as a boxing media personality. So it's going to be his golden ticket.
Johnny, what do you make of it when Tyson Fury says boxing's become boring?
I wouldn't say boring when he said that. I thought probably not, because heavyweight boxing is never boring, really, when you put two guys like that in the ring. But he does add something unique to the game. His whole thing is his family as well. His dad, they galvanise and they get people interested who aren't normally interested in boxing as well. So he's got a point about that. He brings a uniqueness to the sport, let's say that.
Johnny, I was going to say to you, mate, I still think there'll be a great demand. Perhaps not the demand that there once was. You know, maybe a few years ago, everybody, myself included, were dying to see Fury versus Joshua. That was a fight everybody wanted to see. It might not have just the same demand, but I still think the public will want to see it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's probably a fight that could have happened 5-6 years ago, and it would have been in the heyday, but it's still one that the public, the wider British public and the international audience will want to see. I think as a boxing fan, just in general, Fury's given us some unbelievable fights. I think back to the fight in 2015 where he beat Vladimir Klitschko. That didn't get the overall scope that loads of people would have probably thought. But someone like Anthony Joshua, who brings his own audience as well, it is a fight that's going to garner a lot of attention no matter what, whether it was 5 years earlier or it's another 5 years from now. People will still tune in.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right as far as that goes, Johnny. I think the day that he does finally retire. Be a big loss for the boxing world. He puts bums on seats. He's a one-off. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. And, of course, above all of that, he's a blooming good boxer.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree.
Johnny, listen, before we move on, it'd be remiss of me not to ask you, how did we look after you at the weekend, mate? I believe you were up north of the border.
Yeah, we was north of the border. And I was with my younger brother William, who is a quintessentially English-looking bloke, but we was well looked after. He was wearing his wax jacket and he had his boots on, but he was the Scottish fans. It was like a cauldron in there. And whenever we come up to Murrayfield, it's like Scotland raised their level and we got well and truly beat. So you can't make any complaints. We lick our wounds and we travel back down south of the border.
Hey, Johnny, an English-looking bloke. Do we stand out that much?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's had the wax jacket on. He had leather gloves on. He's got long blonde hair. You know, he's...
Hey, mate, the alarm goes off as soon as you get by Carlisle, mate. There's an alarm system goes off.
I don't think there's any Scottish people wearing leather gloves. I think so. As soon as they saw that, I think he had a few looks from people down south, let alone up there. So let's see.
Love it.
Brilliant, mate.
Johnny, thanks a lot, mate.
All the best, mate.
Thanks, lads. Have a good one. Cheers.
You too.
Cheers. Back to pancakes. Adam, only meant to have pancakes, lemon curd and clotted cream.
Oh, stop it.
You don't like lemon curd?
No.
I'm quite partial to lemon curd.
No.
Yeah, anyone? Okay.
Lemon curd, I would probably just have lemon curd before peanut butter. I hate peanut butter.
Oh, I don't like peanut butter at all.
But I like peanut butter. I like peanuts and I like butter. But I don't like peanut butter.
Yeah, it just tastes like sludge. Richard says, Richard in Sheffield, morning, Jeff, the wife has ketchup on her pancakes.
Oh,
she'll be the ex-wife soon. Oh, Rich. You might be the ex-husband soon, I think, before she becomes the ex-wife. And Dad says, back to the sporting stuff, new Champions League format, too many games. Although it gives more of a chance, the biggest problem, 1 million games to lose 12 teams. That lessens the jeopardy across the board. In the old days, you lose, you're out from round one onwards. Daz, you have nailed it.
You mean making that back to a knockout competition?
Well, it's never going to be that.
You either do it or you don't. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Just got all the names in the hat, make it an FA Cup.
Yeah, but then, of course, there's less money involved.
I know that.
There's
it's not going to happen.
Coverage involved.
Correct. It's not
there's
less
work for you.
Correct. It's not going to happen, hopefully.
Well, no, it's not. It's not going to happen. But the lack of jeopardy there is something we're going to see in the World Cup as well, where there's a crazy lack of jeopardy in the group stages.
Agreed.
There we go. 8:58 coming up. We're joined live by Coventry's hat-trick star last night, Hadji Wright. That's next.
Labour MPs, they say, listen, Keir, your position is untenable. This is all about appointing that rat, Peter Mandelson.
We've now had another resignation from number 10. The plot is thickening, the noose is tightening.
His failings are internal. He's useless, incompetent, has no political judgment.
This is all part of Starmer's reset, getting rid of his inner circle. So Chris Wormold, we think fairly reluctantly, has stepped down.
What an absolutely crazy week for Keir Starmer. His second cabinet secretary, gone. His third chief of staff, gone. His fourth director of communications, gone.
Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them. Like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Browse the UK's best used car deals and score your dream car today. Check out their website for more details. Tom says, Jeff, you love the Greyhounds if I remember. Another win yesterday for a ground at the odds of 6-1, and the name of the Greyhound is Moaning McCoist.
No
Are
way.
you aware of this dog?
And it won.
It won 6-1.
Wow. Not winning.
Yeah.
I feel as though you and I are sitting in the confession box here this morning. See the amount of guys and girls that are sending in their first ever single and apologising at the same time.
Getting it off their chest, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely. Steve Simon in Bracknell, another one says, "Hi Jeff, the best topping for pancakes, gravy. You should try it." No, thank you, pal. PB says, "Love you, Jeff, but you're wrong. There was never any jeopardy in the old style group stages. Same old teams qualifying year after year." But there's an interesting one from Angus in South Shields that says, "Champions League should be like the FA Cup. Redraw after every round, and penalties if they draw after 90 minutes."
Listen, in an ideal situation, that is a cup competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go back to and that's what it was when it was a European Cup. Didn't have a problem with it, but money has taken over.
Money talks.
Yeah.
And Steve, as a Hull fan, says, "We beat Borough away. Why did you never mention Hull? Been in the playoff
we
for
did.
a long time."
We have.
Steve, we did, but the problem was we were talking about and we will be, talking about Coventry and Middlesbrough because they played last night and
Yeah.
Hull didn't. Simple as that.
No,
mate.
we've given Hull and Millwall
no bias
certainly
against them. They've had
honourable
they've had a
mentions.
wonderful season, especially considering what they've gone through in terms of transfer embargoes.
Correct.
And such like. Now, big result for Frank Lampard's Coventry last night, who regained top spot in the Championship.
The lights are on. Let the two heavyweights go head to head. Let the drama unfold. Now Radoni with a tight angle, and Wright has turned it in! Coventry lead!
Looking to wear down Coventry, who are kind of resorting to just booting it along to Hadji Wright at the moment.
And Wright is in! It's two! No ball in, shot is blocked, rebound McGree in! 2-1. Hadji Wright, his Vista hat-trick here for Coventry. It is! Right into the bottom corner! It's been 25 years since they were in the top flight. Is that going to end this season? Is it Coventry's year? Coventry are back on top of the Championship. A statement win and performance from the Sky Blues. Coventry 3, Middlesbrough 1.
It's a brilliant win as far as Coventry were concerned, and just when they looked like Middlesbrough were getting back into the game, Cov got that penalty, and it was dispatched with the ultimate coolness by our next guest, who is the Coventry hat-trick hero, Hadji Wright. Morning, Hadji.
Good morning, Hadji. Well done last night. We've not got him.
Haven't got him at the moment. Well, we'll get him in a moment.
Of course we will. I was just looking there, and we'll ask Hadji when we hold on. Brilliant last night, but you're talking about not being allowed to rest in your laurels or look forward. Next two games, West Brom away, which as we know will be a game in itself, and then Sheffield United away.
Yeah, the West Brom are having such a miserable time of it. Out of the FA Cup at the weekend as well, and Eric Ramsey struggling to make an impact in his first half a dozen games or so there. So I'd fancy Frank's side with the way they're going at the moment. As far as Hadji Wright's concerned, this could be one heck of a season because, of course, he's, a USA international as well. So he could be playing for Pochettino,
100%.
In the World Cup on home territory. At the end of a season, which he
I'd be
hoping will end in promotion.
That would be absolutely phenomenal. You got to say that, and you watched the whole game. I watched the highlights. He looked the part last night, as I say. I think he's a little bit unlucky. It was funny. I was listening to commentary, and he got not a little bit of stick, but the commentator said he should have scored in the first minute. I thought it was a good header. I thought he gets up, keeps it going, keeps it down, hits the post, and comes back. I thought it was a little bit unlucky. Showed great power and strength for the second goal. Great hat trick it was.
Yeah, I was disappointed last night in something, and it's just a little thing, and and that was the fact that ITV have got the rights to cover that game. And they put it on ITV4 as opposed to the main channel.
Yeah.
I know it was Emmerdale and Corrie, and you're going to upset a lot of people. But that was a massive game. And it just thought it was an opportunity slightly missed. That was all as far as they were concerned.
I've got to say, Jeff, I mean, that league has given us as much joy as any league that we speak about. You look at that game last night, excellent. But we'll go back to the other one, which you and I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed, and that was when Borough went to Sheffield United. What a game of football that was.
Yeah, Middlesbrough were absolutely brilliant on that occasion. I thought they were less good last night, but I thought even then, when you look at the likes of Hayden Hackney, we mentioned it before, Hayden Hackney's got a real claim to be the best player in the Championship. It's no surprise, is it, that Premier League clubs are sort of coveting him?
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing. If they do go up, right, it then gives them a nice problem because Borough then are in a position where they probably don't need to sell their assets, but if they don't, then they're maybe under a little bit of pressure financially to sell them.
Right, we've got Hadji Wright now, and let's cross live to him straight away, shall we? Hadji, morning to you, congratulations.
Well done, Hadji.
Morning, how are you guys?
Yeah,
Very
we're
well,
really
thank you.
good, but you must be absolutely over the moon. I mean, how big we'll talk about the hat-trick in a moment, but how big a win for Coventry was that?
Super important. First versus second, top of the table clash. It was important to see who could come out on the end, and I'm happy we were able to take 3 points home.
Hadji, what about the start of the game? I mean, you're unlucky yourself. Good header downwards, hit the post and go back. I mean, the boys looked really fired up, as you would expect for a game of that importance.
Yeah, 100%. We were prepared well throughout the week in training. We knew exactly what we wanted to do, so we just came to the stadium and tried to execute.
Yeah. well, as a team, you executed, and you personally executed brilliantly as well. How many hat-tricks in your career?
3.
Three. Is that the most important of them?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
I love that. So far.
I know. I was going to say, you wouldn't have heard just before you came on, Hadji. I mentioned the fact, terrific result. I wouldn't say it was a must-win game, but with Borough on a great run and yourselves maybe slipping ever so slightly, it was certainly a very important game. But no time to rest. West Brom away, Sheffield United away. It is one tough league, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Games come thick and fast. And like you said, it is just 3 points at the end of the day. It wasn't 100% must win, but still we're happy with the 3 points. But yeah, on to West Brom now.
I know you're only interested in, Coventry's performance and your own performance, but did you get the feeling playing in that game that these are the best 2 teams in the division?
Yeah, it felt that way. I mean, we both wanted to go for it. We felt like it was going to be a difficult game. I think we both respected each other, and I think we both tried to cancel each other out. I think we just were able to execute our plan a bit better than they were able to execute theirs.
How'd you tell me, mate? It's a club that I've watched over recent years, and I can't lie to you, I've had a great deal of sympathy for their fans just been getting, pulled from pillar to post, not having their own ground and all that stuff. But I just think it's fantastic to see the stability that you boys and Frank have brought to the team itself. The feeling within the team and the fan base at this moment in time must be just fantastic.
Yeah, ever since I arrived at the club, it's been amazing. Honestly, the support you get at every game, whether home or away, has been amazing. All of the behind the scenes stuff done by the people on the board and people upstairs has been great. And obviously, like you said, the team on the field has just been improving. So it's been great.
Well, this could be a massive season for you, couldn't it? Because you're out to try and help Coventry to get promotion to the Premier League, and there's a World Cup in the USA coming up as well. How optimistic are you that you'll be involved in that?
Try not to think about it. I hope, eventually at the end of the season, when the time comes, my name's on the list and I can go out and try and make a difference for Team USA. But like I said, I don't really try and think about it. I try and perform here at Cov and, hopefully get that opportunity to play there.
You keep scoring those hat-tricks, mate. You'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say to you, mate, obviously you want to be there, and fingers crossed for you, you do get there. But in the grand scheme of things, how do you see the tournament? I mean, everybody's looking forward to it. The previous World Cups have been excellent. There's been a little bit question mark over how it would go in Russia, how it would go in Qatar. But effectively, once the football starts, it's been absolutely wonderful. Do you see the USA tournament and North America and Mexico being the same?
Yeah, 100%. I think, before every World Cup, there's always doubts about location or whatever it may be. But I think, America, Mexico, and Canada, they're 3 great countries and they're able to host a great tournament. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hadji, you're going to have a word with Frank, aren't you? I know you've got to go because you've got a team meeting. What are you doing in the day after you've had a massive win over your arch rivals?
Yeah, the work doesn't stop. Once again, hopefully against West Brom.
He's a hard taskmaster, that Lampard, isn't he?
He is, yeah, but he's doing brilliantly. Hadji, well done last night.
Well done, mate.
Fantastic, mate. Enjoy the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All the best.
It was a cracking hat-trick as well. It
certainly was.
It was. The first 2 goals, the first goal, the keeper would be a bit disappointed, but it was a brilliant touch. The second goal, sharp as attack. Great finish.
Good finish.
Having out-muscled, Luke Ayling. And then the penalty, cool as you like. Brilliant. Paula says, pancakes, I have Nutella and strawberries. It is the only combination.
Nutella, man. Stop it.
You're getting hungry?
No, I just don't like Nutella.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. What about this from Simon? He says, generous spreading of vanilla custard, either fresh mango or melon, and a drizzle of golden syrup.
I used to love custard. No, I had it for years.
Custard and golden syrup, just
you're not having it
too much.
I can tell.
As far as I'm concerned. And Cornelius... Cornelius. Clues in the name. I'm sorry, Cornelius. Jeff, the very best way to enjoy a pancake is with a sprinkle of Grand Marnier. Fantastic. Scott's just texted in, by the way, as well. He said, lads, is Hadji not getting his hair cut till Man United win 5 games in a row? Scott, he can have his hair however he wants as far as Coventry City fans are concerned, that's for sure. Just gone 9:15. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the Champions League tonight. Don't worry, it's not about the format. It's about Real Madrid and how difficult their playoff against Benfica is going to be.
Thomas Tuchel signing a contract, is it because of the fact that the FA were concerned he was going to go somewhere else?
Listen, I think it is. You know, I certainly think he was on Manchester United's list. Who knows, maybe he would have been on Tottenham's list as well. And I think that's why they had to get this done, because what you don't want, if you're the FA, and if you're an England fan, you don't want Thomas Tuchel going into the World Cup with constant speculation that he could be leaving for a Premier League club job at the end of the tournament. I think getting that out of the way, he can focus on the job in hand. I don't think England will win the World Cup. I think there's a lot that counts against England winning this World Cup.
What happens if we lose in the quarterfinals? Does he continue as England manager?
I think I don't think we should underestimate if he gets to the quarterfinal of a World Cup. When you go back pre-Gareth Southgate, which is your argument, we'd have bitten your hand off at the quarterfinal of a World Cup.
Are you going to defend me on that?
No, I'll defend you because I think Gareth Southgate should have won a European Championship. I think they should have beaten Italy in that final. However, pre-Gareth Southgate, England didn't get to quarterfinals and finals of European Championships. So I don't, and it's a tough draw, by the way. You talk about draws. I was there when the draw was made in Washington. England have got to take out some big hitters to get to a quarterfinal.
So where does he have to get to keep his job done?
I think the quarterfinal is par. I think anything beyond that is success. Do you agree?
The likelihood is that they're going to have to go to Mexico and play Mexico in Mexico City, which is going to be a difficult thing to do, although Mexico traditionally don't.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me for nearly 20 past 9. It has been an absolutely fantastic morning, and thank you for so many responses.
Can I give you a bit of clarification?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Kenny, one of the Johnston residents, has been on to inform us that as a Johnston resident born and bred, he says he can confirm that caramelised banana was very seldom on the menu in Johnston. The main menu was chocolate-covered banana at 10 pence a whack. Remember it well, Kenny. Well done, mate.
You're getting a bit of stick, mate.
Yes.
Did I just hear right? Ali doesn't like Nutella. What's wrong with you, man?
I don't like Nutella and I don't like peanut butter.
And you're not keen on lemon curd, so you wouldn't like Bez's suggestion, lemon curd and old school cream from a can.
No.
Not for you.
I like marmalade. I like jam. Apart from that.
Jill says, Jeff, you're out of touch. Caramelised banana's the new thing. Jamie Oliver loves it too. Yeah, well, I tell you what, Jill, don't go down well in Hartlepool. And it doesn't go down well in Bishop's Waltham either, I'll tell you that as well. It's not just a
and Johnston.
north-south divide.
The looks of things.
Yeah. AD says the best way to eat your pancakes is you've got to dip them in your rice pudding with jam. Pucker, says AD from Leicester.
I'm having a wee think about that. I'm not ruling that out of the equation.
Gaz says he's trying pistachio spread on his pancakes. I tell you, Gaz, I don't think pancakes are a thing to be experimented with. Because you don't get them very often. So don't experiment and don't risk them going horribly wrong. And I think pistachio spread, that is a big risk, mate. Big risk. First of the Champions League playoffs gets underway tonight. Standout match, no question about that. It's a repeat of that crazy final match day between Benfica and Real Madrid. Remember the one the Benfica keeper came up and scored a 98th-minute header to win the game 4-2 and secure a playoff spot for Jose Mourinho's side. Pleased to say, joining us now to preview tonight's match, someone who knows the Real Madrid side of things better than most of us. It's a very good morning to Athletics Real Madrid writer Dermot Corrigan. Morning, Dermot.
Good morning, Dermot.
Hey, morning, Jeff. Hey, I just have my Nutella on my pancakes here.
It's a sackable offence, that, Dermot.
Big with the kids here as well, so...
Yeah. Listen, mate, I was going to say to you, looking forward to the game tonight, Real Madrid, Benfica. At the same time, they had a great result last night, Real Madrid, didn't they?
Yeah, big shock for Barcelona losing at Girona, their neighbours up in Catalonia. Barca haven't been playing great. They've been scraping results out in La Liga recently, and they slipped up last night. They're really missing Pedri and deserve to lose again.
Obviously, a lot of the headlines are going to be about Jose up against his old club once again. I mean, he does have this knack, this incredible knack, doesn't he, of coming back and haunting old sides.
Yeah, and making headlines as well.
He's the master headline maker.
It's been all about him in the build-up here. There's talk that maybe he'd like to come back and coach Real Madrid again if they were to knock them out tonight. And Arbeloa would then be in trouble, probably wouldn't continue in the summer, and maybe Mourinho would like to come back. Haven't heard much from around the club hierarchy that they'd be up for that, but you never know at Real Madrid. And yeah, Mourinho, he's like a bogeyman for a lot of people in Spanish football. From his 3 years at Madrid were such turbulent, frantic, energetic, controversial. It was just crazy time against Guardiola back then. And the kind of legacy of his time at Madrid still hangs over the Bernabeu, especially with Arbeloa, his former player, as the new coach of Madrid. So it's all set up perfectly for him to make all the headlines and for everybody to watch the game.
Well, you're talking about making all the headlines, Dermot. I mean, you've got to say the headlines have followed him throughout his coaching and managerial career, but let's get back, just if we may, just for a minute, to that absolutely the madness when Anatoly Trubin scored the header from the free kick. I mean, we've watched him, we've seen a lot in football, but I sat in the studio and watched that, and it was an open mouth moment. It was incredible.
Oh, it was tremendous. Just the drama of it, and how a couple of seconds before, or 30 seconds before, he'd been kind of wasting time as well.
Yeah,
nobody was sure what was going on. Just the way that the last game week of the Champions League group stages works out now, it was fantastic. And Madrid, it was a big blow for Madrid and Arbeloa, because they were really outplayed in the game. Benfica deserved to win. It wasn't that it'd been like Benfica sneaked the win, or just because they got that late goal they somehow were lucky to win the game. They were much better than Madrid on the night, deserved it, and yeah, it was fantastic for everybody to watch.
I think Mbappe missed the last Madrid game, didn't he? But is he going to start this evening? 38 goals, by the way. 38 goals this season so far. Unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. He's been carrying a problem with his left knee for a couple of months. It's not something that he needs to take an operation or whatever, but they try and rest him from time to time. He missed a couple of games back in January, but he'll start for sure. Gonzalo came in, young striker, and scored a really good goal, the key goal to open the scoring at the weekend, but he'll be back on the bench. Madrid will have their big stars out, and Mbappe's not going to miss this one.
Dermot, what's the latest on Bellingham? It looks as though hamstring's going to put him out for a few weeks.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a little bit more serious than we thought at first. It's hard to know at the minute, because there's kind of conflicting stories out, and Madrid don't want to talk too much about it. But yeah, maybe started off talking about 4 weeks, maybe closer to 2 months now. Bellingham he's a fit guy. He tends to come back from injuries quite quickly in the past, and Madrid will be hoping to get him back. They're hoping to go through and get him back. But it could be, a possible quarter-final, or we'll see about the England games in March. He's touch and go for them, I'd say, even at this stage.
Yeah. Look, just on the Benfica side tonight, you can't help but admire the longevity of Nicolas Otamendi. I mean,
incredible.
Absolutely 6 years ago, he left Man City.
World Cup winner, the whole bit.
And he's going to have the job of marshalling that Benfica defence tonight. 38 years of age, his 37th appearance of the season. It's just astonishing.
Yeah, he's tremendous warrior, Otamendi. Played against Madrid for Valencia, 15 years ago, probably back in La Liga. And it suited him the last night. I think he's a warrior. He's for these games where it's backs to the wall, where, maybe it's your spirit that gets you through. It's the energy, the adrenaline of the game. And he's a real leader as well for the younger players around him to push them through, and perfect for Mourinho to get his message across to the players.
I tell you, I don't mind Pavlidis through the middle either. Damn, he does a job. He's a handful.
Yeah, they've got some good players. Benfica hasn't gone so well for them in Portugal so far. I think that's why Mourinho ended up there, and there's been trouble off the pitch with the new president coming in, Rui Costa. It's a difficult kind of off the pitch situation, I think, at Benfica, but they're able to rise for the big occasions. That's Mourinho's a genius at that. He did it in the first game, and now with everybody looking at them again, they'll have the confidence as well from the first game when they were able to cut through Madrid again and again on the break. They physically were, out-battled Madrid, out-fought Madrid in the first game. We're expecting Madrid not to be more up for it this time, to be aware of the challenge that they're going to face. And Madrid have been through a lot since then as well, with, whistles at the Bernabeu. The fans have been on the players' back, they've been on the president's back, on the coach's back. Yeah. And that seems to have lit a fire under some of the Madrid players who weren't playing that well before, and have come back and started to run maybe a little bit harder and to be a little bit more focused in their most recent games.
Game of the night, no question about that. Dermot, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Dermot. Enjoy it.
Cheers, Jeff. Cheers, Alex. See you.
Yeah, I mean, it is the game of the night, and it is the stage where the Champions League.
He is somebody.
Yeah, starts to kick in, but of course he is. He would be.
You talk about Fury,
ecstatic, wouldn't he?
You talk about Fury box office.
Yeah.
Jose, he's just there.
Fury makes headlines.
Correct.
Jose makes headlines. And by the way, Jose has made headlines for year after year after year after year. Jose says they don't need a miracle, but they do need to be at their maximum level tonight. I've been umming and ahhing about reading this text, but I'm going to do it, okay? It's from Colin, who's an Everton fan. He says, on the pancake theme, we went international and had Dutch pancakes with North African savoury jam made from hamsters. He said, tastes disgusting, but if you threw it on your garden, you'll get a lovely crop of tulips. Well, you do get tulips from hamster jam. I'll get my coat, says Colin.
I didn't know you were going there. That's brilliant. That surprised me, Colin. I'm loving it. Loving it.
Brilliant, Colin. Thank you very much indeed. Just a reminder, talkSPORT 2 got you covered tonight. Live commentary of Real Madrid's Champions League playoff first leg against Benfica. Coverage from 7:45. Coming up, we turn our attention to the winter games and heartbreak for Kirsty Muir.
You know, when you walk into Tottenham, what you see everywhere is to dare is to do. It's everywhere. And yet their actions are almost the antithesis of that. Right. It's a real curious in terms of understanding what are they trying to build? You know, what are they? Is it... There's obviously, they've built an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable training facilities. But when you look at the expenditure, particularly you know, in their wages structure, they're not a big club. I saw that because when we were trying to sign players, we weren't in the market for those players.
I was stunned. I was absolutely... I thought it was disgraceful.
Did you?
I thought, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. The club have given him £7 million. He's blaming everyone but himself.
No, we got him a trophy.
Yes, but for his sacking, he's blaming everyone. But when I sat down on the day of the final, Daniel Levy comes up to me and goes, "I've been in 8 semi-finals and final." We all laughed.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's not his fault.
I don't want to know that. That should be private.
No,
The geezer's giving you honestly, he didn't blame himself. Did he ever say, "I wasn't that good"?
No. No, but
let me tell you now. If you're listening, Ange, I know you won't, but if you're listening, the reason you were the worst Spurs manager in 50 years.
Most successful in the last 20.
And the reason you got
is he the most successful in the last 20?
Yeah, but I've already told you why, right?
No, but is he?
Not in the league, no. All I'm saying is league.
When they look back, though, they'll go, and you were successful.
No, because okay, before him, who's the last manager to win something?
Juan de Ramos.
That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you're a good manager. The last two have been appalling. The last two have been appalling. But let me tell you now, right? The reason he got sacked by Spurs, the reason he got sacked after 39...
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. With over 20,000 used cars online to choose from, they'll have the car for you. Ross says pancake fillings, banana, Biscoff sauce and scooshy cream. In brackets, ask Ali. This is how the good guys in Fife have their pancakes. What's scooshy cream?
It's exactly what it sounds. Creamy scoosh. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a squishy, a squirty squishy thing.
So you squirt it out of a can?
Nee, a tube.
A tube?
Yeah, like a... How would you describe it? You must have seen it.
I don't think so.
And it comes out the top, just like squishy.
I don't know what Biscoff sauce is either, to be brutally honest.
You beat me there, right enough.
Yeah, no idea. I think it's some sort of caramelised thing. But hey,
That's not. Yeah.
Yeah, David's.
So that's where it's all going.
David's killed two birds with one stone here on his text. He says, first record, man was Little Richard, good golly, Miss Molly, proper rock and roll, and pancakes, old-fashioned lemon and sugar. So you get two for the price of one with David. Well, not pancakes, or indeed first records, but thanks very much indeed for that. Look, it's been quite a winter game so far, hasn't it, for Team GB? Matt Weston and Tabby Stoker making history as they claimed gold in the mixed team skeleton Weston, the first Team GB athlete to win 2 gold medals at a single Winter Olympics. Yesterday morning, both Matt and Tabby joined us on the breakfast show to explain the magnitude of their achievement.
I had no idea at the top of the track what I needed to do. I kept my mind pretty clear. I deliberately didn't look at any of the times of anyone who'd gone before me just to keep my mind clear, and I knew I had a job to do. I knew I had a performance to put down. But yeah, as soon as I crossed the finish line, I had my head up looking for my coach and the times and to see what rank it had. And yeah, now obviously got 2 of these bad boys. So.
Brilliant, yeah.
Wasn't it great?
Great reaction. The pair of them were
Tremendous.
absolutely fantastic. And of course, it took GB's medal count up to 3 because we got gold through Charlotte Banks and Hugh Nightingale in
Incredible.
the snowboard cross
Incredible.
mixed team event. So I'm delighted to say joining us now, former British slopestyle snowboarder, represented GB at the 2014 and 2018 Winter Olympic Games. Amy Fuller, morning again.
Amy, good morning.
Good morning. You guys are making me so hungry talking about pancakes, the Biscoff.
Yeah.
You got my mouth watering.
Well, what is Biscoff then? Because it's not something. Yeah, I'm not aware.
I don't know what it is either. It's sort of like a salted, caramelly, gooey sauce.
Oh,
it's
it sounds
delicious.
Great.
It's
sounds
delicious.
Good. So, what would your pancake of choice be then, Amy? What would you have on your pancake?
Ooh, it depends if I'm going like healthy or
No, forget the
more
healthy bit.
traditionally. Okay, all right then. I'm gonna go like triple stack American style, and then in between I'm gonna go yogurt, Biscoff, and then nuts, like roasted salted almond butter, more yogurt, berries, and like stack it high.
I can tell you're an athlete, Amy.
Amy,
No, but the American style.
Why did I know? Why did I just know that when we asked you that question, you weren't going to let us down? I just knew it, Amy.
Sorry, I can't help myself. You know, let's be honest, like athletes or now former athletes, we just love our food, you know, and that's been all the chat out at the Olympics is how is the food in the Olympic Village? Apparently, it's not that good, but the pizza, as you would expect, is of course on point.
Yeah. Look, we spoke to Matt Weston yesterday, and it transpires. I mean, he's got 2 gold medals. Transpires he's not fully fit. I mean, how good is this guy?
I mean, Matt Weston clearly is of a different breed. He is superhuman. The fact that he just keeps getting faster and faster and then goes into that final with Tabby, the Super Stoker. I love that nickname. and he sets another track record after already performing and winning the gold. The guy's made us something different. Clearly, it's not pancakes.
It was a brilliant weekend, I've got to say. I mean, I was up early on Sunday morning and I'd never moved. And obviously Charlotte and Charlotte Banks and Hugh Nightingale as well. That was just fantastic to watch.
Oh, it really was like absolutely nail-biting here at the TNT studios. I was in with Orla. And the crazy thing about the border cross is it just happens so quickly.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're in the quarters. Wow, they're in the semis. We're in the finals. We're in the big final. We could win a medal. And that just was such a magic moment in winter sports history that will never, ever be forgotten. The fact that they clinched gold. We've never had a gold on snow before.
Incredible, no?
Just a magical moment to witness, and through the heartache and the roller coasters of Charlotte Banks' career, the fact that she could come out on top alongside Hugh Nightingale was so special.
Yeah. And you talk about heartache. You have to feel for Kirsty Muir, don't you?
Oh.
2 fourth-place finishes.
I was just reading here as well. She had an incredible 93 points in her second run, but sadly fell in third. I know she'll be extremely disappointed, but you've got to be so proud as well.
I think the thing we saw from Kirsty Muir last night is just a showcase of her ability. She is, without a doubt, one of the best skiers in the world and a top contender, but the standard last night was so high. Kirsty skied her absolute socks off, and she had an incredibly competitive event. She even said herself, like, that's one of the best I've ever skied. But when it comes to that third and final run, and the girl that's just dropped before you has bumped you into fourth, your only option is to lay all of your cards on the table. And we saw her go for something she's never tried before. But at the end of the day, it's only 2 tricks that count. And that second run, I mean, that 16:20, it was flawless. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but people tuning in probably think we're speaking another language, because the tricks they are performing are
amazing.
Yeah, they're superhuman.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I tell you what I found sort of interesting last night, Amy, was that Kirsty's final was delayed by blizzards. Now, in recent times, it struck me that more often than not, we rely on artificial snow in the Olympics. Does it make a difference? I mean, it sounds a daft question. Does it make a difference whether it's the real thing or whether it's artificial?
So in the discipline of big air, it doesn't affect things too much, because often we see these scaffolding style jumps, which we saw last night, inserted into cities, and actually the big air tour does frequent cities. Milan, for example, I competed there. London, we've even had big air World Cups in. So the actual snow in a big air doesn't affect it too much. But the problem last night was the inconsistency in the event. So 1 minute you're on and they're riding in these horrific conditions, wind, snow. You do not want that. It makes it dangerous. It's such an open environment. And because they are so high off the ground, the wind will affect them. And quite literally, you can be taken like a sail, a sail at sea. So the fact that the girls were able to recompose once the weather dropped and the finals proceeded is just a testament to the mental agility of those athletes.
It was just a quick one. I got a little bit of stick the last time for asking about the curling, but I'm going to go there again.
I love this chat in a minute.
I
this
love
is
it.
controversial.
It's controversial. Tell us your views. Come on.
Okay, so I think Team Canada, there was definitely a lot of pokey and argy-bargy going on. I mean, I've seen the clips, I've seen different angles of it, and you can see he pushes with his finger, there's a lack of contact, and then a retouch. Now, Team GB, I have to say, not being biased, I haven't seen a vision of the clip of the argy-bargy pokey poke, but Team Canada, I say, breaking all of the rules.
Whoa. Controversy in the
There's
curling.
my exclusive, guys. I've dropped the bomb.
Brilliant. You go away and get yourself a pancake now. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Amy, thank you very much indeed.
Lads, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so
Great
much for
stuff.
having me. I'm going to get my third coffee in for the day, because we're on the morning shift.
Good for you.
Good stuff.
Keep up the good work.
Nice one.
And of course, you can watch every moment of the Winter Olympics.
Been brilliant.
I've
loved it. Absolutely loved
you
it.
You can see it live on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus right through until the 22nd of February. Spectacular. It makes great TV. Pancakes, Mike says, best mid-morning sandwich is Nutella and smooth peanut butter on sourdough bread. You're not having that one, are you?
No, I'm not.
Kirsty?
No, I can't. Like.
And second text from Tim Vine. There's only one thing better than salted caramel, and the answer is caramel. Who was the person who thought you improve caramel by adding salt to it? You don't. You make it slightly less nice than caramel. Anyway, can't stop. I'm helping Jeff's mum with these pancakes.
I've got this vision. Of Tim sitting there somewhere salivating with all this, like one of these big St. Bernards, just thinking about food and pancakes and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
With your mother, obviously.
Yeah, well, never you mind about him salivating. I'm sitting here salivating as well. And we've only got 15 minutes or so, and I can finally get something. Whether it's a pancake or not remains to be seen, but it won't be with Nutella, that is for sure. Tim Vine, of course, has been on the How to Win the World Cup podcast with Matt Ford, another of my favourite
brilliant
comedian stroke impressionists as well. It's absolutely brilliant. Make sure you check it out if you possibly can. Coming up, if you missed it earlier on, Ali will be telling us about the incredible experiences he had working with the late Robert Duvall.
is Szoboszlai up with a Gerrard standard? I'd love to know what Liverpool fans thought, because I think but him and Gerrard, there ain't a lot in it. I mean, Steven Gerrard at 25, 26 was amazing. He dragged the team, a bit like Szoboszlai has done this season, but Liverpool did win the Champions League in 2005. And look, an outstanding, if not the best ever Liverpool midfielder. But I wondered how close Szoboszlai was to Gerrard. I'd just love to know if there's Liverpool fans out there who would go, do you know what? Or no, he's not, you know. Because I think they're pretty close.
Never mind Liverpool fans out there who say, no, he's not. Yeah, there are some presenters here who said, no, he's not. The thing for me, Coisty, is that he would have to do it over a heck of a lot longer period to ever be compared to Steven Gerrard.
Listen, I've got to say to you, Jeff, I've written down 4 words here. Big Cass, there's a line, then I've put calm down. I've just put calm down after it. Szoboszlai probably has been the pick of the bunch of Liverpool players, perhaps this season.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific. You could look at key moments, for example, his goal, a free kick against Arsenal, out of this world.
Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast, 9:48 on Tuesday, February the 17th. You might have seen those pictures that went viral yesterday of the Chelsea players.
I did.
Straight past the Hull City mascots.
Not a good look.
You know, I'd expected a statement from Chelsea today, so I'm going to give them a bit of advice, and it's advice for free, by the way, as well. I'm not sure what the PR team do there.
Yeah.
But if I'm at Chelsea right now, I'm getting in contact with Hull City. I'm getting in touch with those kids and their mums and dads, and I'm saying, sorry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to take you down to Stamford Bridge and give you a fantastic day out for the kids and the mums and dads as well, just to make up for what happened to them when they were blanked by Chelsea player after Chelsea player. Now, though, they may have blanked them unintentionally. Okay, it's quite possible. But just in terms of PR, come on, boys at Chelsea, pull your fingers out, put it right.
Yeah, it was a poor look. I was actually surprised that some people, I was reading some of the comments, some people were kind of sticking up for it and saying, you know, some people were saying, well, they're Hull City mascots and just completely missing the whole point. Didn't matter who they
little boys and girls.
That's my point. Didn't matter who they supported. They're small kids. It was poor. And I'll mention it again, you guys like McGinn and Grealish and boys like that, anytime you see them with the kids, fantastic mascots and things like that. That's the way it should be. Listen, we all make mistakes. But you're right. You have the opportunity to rectify.
Just make a gesture and do it now.
Yeah.
Organise it today. Make it public today as well. And everybody will think a lot better of you, Chelsea. Take my advice. Invoices coming. Anyway, look, sad news last night. Legendary actor and filmmaker Robert Duvall passed away at the age of 95. Duvall, an absolutely brilliant performer. He won the Oscar, of course, for his part as an alcoholic country and western singer, I think, in Tender Mercies. And,
brilliant.
And he was known for his roles in The Godfather and The Godfather 2. And, of course, Apocalypse Now as well, which is...
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Film. Yeah. Brilliant.
What a line.
And he worked with some great people, didn't he?
Oh, man, the best.
Marlon Brando, Al Pacino,
John Wayne,
and Ally McCoist as well. Our favourite film that he's done. And the only time, to my knowledge, that he was teamed up with McCoist was in A Shot to Glory.
In the small village of Kilnockie, not much ever changes.
Should try out this new invention, Gordon, called a car.
But now,
it is, of course, the recent signing by Kilnockie of Jackie McQuillan.
Scotland's most notorious star soccer player has been chosen to boost the town's struggling team.
This guy's going to give us the punch we need, Gordon, to make a run at a cup. Don't you want to win a cup?
Teams win the cup, Peter, not prima donnas reminiscing their past glory.
Academy Award winner Robert Duvall, Michael Keaton, and introducing Ally McCoist.
They are all driven, stubborn, selfish, and as competitive as a pack of street dogs.
This is our shot at glory, lads. All right? All right?
A shot at glory.
Now, as if doing a whole film alongside Ali wasn't enough, here's Robert doing some punditry alongside Dougie Donnelly, John Collins, and Ali.
We're now joined by a genuine Hollywood legend, Robert Duvall. Bob, you're very welcome. Lovely to see you. And I hear you're becoming extremely knowledgeable about Scottish football.
Well, I am, but also I'm here to keep next to him, so because you got to keep your tabs on this guy. He'll get away from you.
Tell me
you
about
learned
it.
your line, and he's actually quicker than me. He says you have to lose 20 pounds.
Now, what's this I hear about you two going to make
I still haven't got over the Manchester United match yet.
You watch that?
Unbelievable.
Brilliant.
So what was he like? You had the joy of
that's what he was
working with
like.
him.
Do you know something? That's what he was like. It was fantastic, and it's bizarre actually. I think you're talking about one of the greatest actors that ever lived on this planet. To tell you the truth, you mentioned some of the names of people he worked with, but I mentioned it earlier, Jeff. Do you know what he was? He was just a good guy. He was a good guy, and the boys will all back me up. We'd what a laugh we had doing that movie. I mean, the tears. One of the sketches came in at Hampden, played in the cup final, and a lot of the boys, you know, Jimmy Boyle and Owen Coyle and all that, big Andy, and one of the scenes was he comes in at the end at half time and we're getting beat 1-0, and he comes in and reads the riot act at half time, right? So all the boys, we're meant to be having an argument with ourselves in the dressing room when he comes in, which is always the case, but all the boys were laying it on thick, right? Because they knew whoever get the last word in before he came into the dressing room would be in the movie, right? Right. So we're getting beaten on the boys at Hampden. There's a big argument going on, right? And then Duvall would come in and there'd be an argument to see who get the last word in, right? So eventually the director caught it on. He says, "Look, lads," he said, "I know what you're trying to do." He says, "But come on," he says, "give us a break. They get a shot done." So he comes in and we're all arguing, right? And then Duvall comes in, slams the door. And as he came in and slams the door, I think it was Owen Coyle. He turns around and said, "Right, a bit of hush for the gaffer." And the place just fell about laughing because he knew he was getting in the movie. He was brilliant and he loved it. I mentioned earlier, whenever there was a wee gap in filming, we used to get the boxes up or a net up and we'd have a game of heady tennis, and he would just pull up a seat. He would just pull up a seat, Jeff, and have a cup of tea and watch the boys playing. And you think of the movies he's been in.
Oh, yeah. And how, I mean, he must have spent a lot of time in Scotland filming it. How did he settle into the sort of Scottish way of life?
Loved it. He loved it. And the Scottish people, as you imagine, loved him. The Scottish people are very warm at the best of times. But when somebody comes over and wants to get into their culture, you know, you can't help but like and take them in. And he came over to places up to St Andrews, Crail, all over, Lanarkshire, Glasgow. And it was just brilliant. He was going to games. He loved wee Jimmy Johnston. He loved wee Jinky. He went to see Jinky. And he just took to it. And he would sit and he would tell stories as well. I mentioned earlier when he was an up and coming Hollywood actor, he moved into an apartment with Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman.
Did any of them make it?
What? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You think about it. You think about the people he worked with.
There's a movie there in that, by the way, as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's, and I know sometimes we go overboard, but I think it's safe to say one of Hollywood's greatest of all time. And a fit, healthy man. Loved his fitness. You know, and they're all laughing at me in there. I mean, there's only so much name dropping you can do, but I'm going to get stick for the rest of the day for mentioning Robert Duvall. You constantly sent me a Christmas card after that movie.
I love it.
Him and Luciano.
However, Roger in Chorley has got one question to ask. When we talk about Robert Duvall and we talk about a shot at glory, he says, what was Ali thinking with that penalty miss at the end?
Oh, by the way, that was the one thing. That's the one thing that Robert Duvall, he gave me a bit of stick. He said I took to acting quite well, but missed the penalty. It took me 4,814 takes.
What, he scored the others?
No, to miss the penalty, yes.
Yeah, so you scored the first 4,813?
Yes.
Must have driven them absolutely up the wall. But I think you're absolutely right. We talk about Hollywood greats. They don't come much greater than Robert Duvall. And the greatest thing about it, in many respects, is the longevity. You know, he
Correct.
did it from the very early 60s.
62 to Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And then True Grit with John Wayne, 69. Rooster, what was his name?
Rooster Coburn.
Rooster Coburn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a movie. You think Apocalypse Now, Godfather 2, Pacino, Brando. They don't get any bigger, do they?
Mm.
Great man. A great man.
Absolutely.
And a very, very sad loss. It was tough last night. I get messages coming through, but you always look at what a 95 years that man lived.
Absolutely. He's a genius of the old silver screen. Couple of texts to close with. Lawrence, the Fulham fan here, says, Jeff, why would you be so cruel to suggest those Hull mascots should go to Stamford Bridge? Haven't they suffered enough? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed for that, Lawrence. And Tom, the Arsenal fan, we've been talking about first records and we've been talking about pancake fillings. Tom says, first record I bought was Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. I was 9 years old. I saved my pocket money for it. And a large mixed doner with chili and garlic on my pancake. Thank you very much. Tom, I think you should save your pocket money on that. Don't bother buying that one, I would say. But brilliant. Coisty, been an absolutely fantastic moment. Swamped with text. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Never seen a reaction like it. Between pancakes and first songs, it's been crazy.
So thank you so much for everybody who's contributed.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, we've had so many texts. I'm going to have to take a little break, which is what I'm going to do for the next 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm just going to chill out for a while with a bit of rest and relaxation. So I'll see you when I get back. Coisty, we'll see you tomorrow morning
Big Al.
at 6 with Big Al. And Jim and Simon are next.